5 hours ago.
Why? What happened or what?
Yo, bro, I fucking ordered something online. This is some first world problem shit. I ordered something online and fucking I shipped it to the wrong house like a dickhead. Or I'm sorry, we shouldn't curse this early, but yeah,
Like just in general, like just someone else's house.
I sent it to my old address and I can't stop it. They can't stop the fucking package, bro.
God, how
It
much was the
hasn't
package?
It wasn't much, but I mean, like, I would rather just you hold it at the post office and I'll come pick it up at whatever.
Yeah, they're not gonna
But
do
I
that. What are you gonna do? You're gonna cancel it?
I can't stop it. Apparently, nothing.
Jesus, dude, Amazon sucks, man. Amazon sucks.
So yeah, man, that was my fucking day, bro. How was your day?
It was all right. Just a bad stomach ache from like spaghetti or whatever.
Chatted poo poo.
Go poo 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 poo. What is up? Welcome back. It is Friday night. You're here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I got my co-host Brian D from New Jersey. What's up, Brian?
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Everybody in the comments, everything.
Yeah.
Everything's great.
Everybody, comments.
Everybody
Rob, Big Rob up in the comment section. What is up, my dude? Everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate everyone. Welcome back to the show. It is 9 p.m. It is Friday night. We are here chilling out, not really doing the clubbing thing as normal. We are here just chilling. David, what is up, my dude?
What up?
Collectors himself, my guy, man. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Brian, how's your week, man?
Dude, I had a great week. I was telling you before, until earlier today. It was literally the worst 5 hours of my life. I had to call 3 fucking businesses, and none of them could stop my fucking package, bro. It was the worst. But other than that, man, it was a pretty good week, man. How about yours,
David out there getting that cheddar, man. David out there getting that cheddar. That's good. You have a good one.
Sir, how was your week?
It was good. It was all right. We had a pretty bad situation happen. Our car broke down. It ended up being a $500 fix, and electricity came out super expensive because of the heat and the way our AC works. Nah, it was I think we had an alternator issue. Okay. So like our alternator went out. They had to replace the alternator, and it's really weird, man. I feel like, what's up, Myers? Good to see you, my man. Myers, man. Good to see you.
What up?
Alternators, how much do they usually cost, dude? Off the top of our heads, I mean,
beats me, dude.
Dude, it was like $200.
You're paying more for the labor anyway. Like, it's not even the alternator that you're paying the most for. That's cheap. It's the labor.
Yeah. It was wild, man. But it caught us by surprise. Now out there just trying to hustle to make some money to try to catch back up. Other than that,
are you thinking about selling
hand jobs in the parking lot, man?
Tug jobs,
couple tug jobs. Parking lot, dudes, the backsides. Just got to find where the darkest corners are.
You got to do. You got to find your random local taco place and just start handing out tug jobs, man.
Dude, or fucking only feet or whatever the fuck people got out there, man. Oh yeah, I can't do that. You said my feet aren't good from the lowrider pics.
Yeah, man. Like, what do you think?
Never do pictures and chat.
You do not have a future in Feet Finder, let me tell you, man.
Hey, good news is you hit me up and you said there's a possibility you might be coming to town soon. Come check us out.
Yeah. So
I was super excited when you told me that. I was like, itinerary, dude. I'm gonna do some real crazy old Karen woman shit. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna say something because I know that we spoke off camera, but I had originally planned for the second week of September. That's going to change. It's probably going to be at the end of September. I'm going to be in Tampa in the second week of September. So we're going to be moving around. But yes, my plan is to, at some point, either in late September. Yeah, late September for sure. I will be there. We will have live broadcast, hopefully. And it should be dope. I'm excited.
It'd be cool, man. If you're going to be here for a couple of days, maybe we can hit up like the collectors and Chew and we all get together and do like a big ass live feed, man. I mean, just visit everybody, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah, that'd be legit. And then, of course, like I told you, not going to do fucking Chili's this time. I'm going to take you to some real places. And I know D took care of you the last time. He took you to some cool places, all right?
You know what's funny is that I forget about that every time, and then you bring it up.
I'm gonna bring it up because I messed up. Because I know it's my mistake.
I mean, I didn't mess up, so yeah, somebody.
No, I feel guilty, dude. That's how you know I genuinely feel guilty about not taking you somewhere fucking cool. It's because it was the only place close to us. Oh shit! Look at Michael
There you
Betancourt in
go.
the comment
That's
section. My
right. Yep,
dude.
that might be the play right there. Good
Oh shit.
call.
Yeah, shit. Get Brian on my Psycho. Yeah,
That
Psychotronics
is
free
definitely a good
show coming up
play.
September 16th. Well, if it's feasible, because that's like mid-month. Yeah, that's like 16th is like in the mid. You know, we could probably get something going on. We could probably do like a live podcast or like a live Q&A panel with people. We've been running the podcast for a minute, man. And I got to put up some of the numbers on the show this past week. Last week got me really intrigued having David on the show from the Collectors Podcast talking about numbers. And I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm going to check them out. I posted, David messaged me up to talk to me about some of the things. And, you know, from what I wanted to do is as a passion project, I wanted to keep it organic. And I know that a lot of the times people will automatically start something and start to put money and advertise and things like that. And I think what works for us very well is we have a pretty solid fucking show. Like, I think for a show, like, we can sit here and we can cover a lot of material. We're not scripted. You know, sometimes we just like bounce it off the top of our heads and just go with the flow of it. Most of the time, literally. And that right there, I feel is a very prominent skill to have a really good show, is having people that, you know, that are creative and to keep the talk going. I mean, can you imagine when we were green, like way back in the day, starting the podcast, and we were like, man, dude, to cover an hour already seems like a challenge. You know, covering an hour and a half like might be a little too much, but like, dude, sometimes we're here like 3 hours, and then we're after the show, we're stuck in the fucking back room in the green room, and it's just me, you, and Trigger just talking shit for another hour. You know what I mean? Like, we just keep going and going and going. And I was very surprised by the numbers because I had never really like checked them out. And I really think a good thing that I want to just tell people that if you want to create a podcast, I know that there's a desire to want to already throw money at it. But I think a very good thing to work on first is to make sure your content is at least quality content to make sure people want to stay with you. And I think the numbers that we have that we put up showed that since we're so dedicated and passionate about putting a show that we care about, people come back to this and they have a good time with us. And I think that's super important. I think people need to realize that.
Listen, I just want to say something really quick. I think you and I have different philosophies about this, different ideologies about that. I do think it is great to hone in and grow something organic, but I don't think there's anything wrong with throwing
financially putting some money, throwing
as much money at it as you possibly can.
Yeah,
I don't see that being a problem.
No, I mean, what I mean by that is like, even in the beginning, when I first started this off, like a long time ago, I'd put cash into it. I would do the 15, the 10, the 20, you know, trying to throw ads and trying to do this stuff. And it would get some really good number reach. But I just feel like in that process, when I was back then with John, man, I was still making hiccups too. Like, we hadn't really found our footing that we could really give people like a foothold, like a placement when they come in and they can throw quips and quotes that we've been doing for a while just at each other and just conversations and episodes that people really dig and like and things that we brought up in conversation. Today, I'm super excited because we're going to be talking about a really big Marvel story. And we're going to be able to compare it to the comic book and to the way that the Marvel universe is. I'm really, really excited about that today.
Yeah.
But like those kind of things, like those, I feel like people know that they can come to us to shine in those aspects. And I think that's very cool. So like right now, if I put an ad out and I tell people come by, we talk about this stuff thoroughly, like they'll know because they have a lot of stuff to look back on. And then not only that, our YouTube channel is doing pretty good. You know, pretty good organically, which I'm really happy about because I like YouTube. I like being on it. I like being around it.
Yeah, you're being way too humble. No. You're being way too humble for me right now, bro. Like, if your numbers are up, man, say it with your chest, bro.
No, it's like I said, like I'm very happy. I'm happy where we are and I'm happy where it's grown and I'm just excited now. I'm a lot more excited. More excited. And I really, really appreciated David's conversation last week on the podcast, talking about the numbers and checking them out. And then him taking the time with me on the side note off camera, you know, looking at the numbers with me and comparing and talking. And then him saying like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna lie though, your numbers are way cooler. Like they're really nice compared to like how we're starting. And I'm like, well, you guys are starting off. It's cool. Like give it time. It's gonna work. But it just goes to show that the consistency part of doing YouTube and doing podcasting and all that stuff and being consistent. Footnotes, man, it works. It works. It may be a long drive or a short drive, but it still works. And I'm happy. I'm fucking super happy. But Michael Betancourt says, gentlemen, you guys are awesome as always. Sadly, I'm still working on on contracts and programming for the few weeks or the few things. So I gotta go head out and I'll swing back when I can. Excellent. We're gonna be talking about the Marvel news that just dropped this week. So make sure you guys do it. What it do? You know who this is? Gino Brisconte's airborne herpes bumps. Man, dude, Wrong Hole Rick comes in with the hardest names, dude. The hardest names. I love it, man. Lemon, what's up, my man? He says, hey, guys, watching from the office. You guys are doing great. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. Yeah, so like I said, it was a pretty crazy week. I mean, just like everybody else. I just found out just right now, because I have, of course, like social media in the background, trying to advertise and push the podcast while we're in it. But someone just posted up that it looks like we're getting like a pretty crazy storm in the next couple of weeks.
I don't know what kind of storm, like rain.
I don't know, man. It looked like it was.
How don't you know the fucking disaster of 2023 is heading your way? You have no idea.
Yeah, don't even start, dude. It has been. Yo, are you guys still dealing with the heat and shit like that up there?
It's fucking Jersey, and
you're like, it's always hot,
man. Hell yeah, bro.
It's always hot. I just saw it right now, and someone had posted it up, but it just refreshed. But it looked like there's a pretty major tropical storm breaching up, like in the deeper parts of the Gulf. And it looks like they're saying like it's like a 40% chance that it might head in our direction. Usually it kind of deters and goes towards like Houston and goes towards the middle of the Gulf, but like still a 40% chance. That's pretty rad, if you know what I'm talking about, man. That's pretty hardcore. So guys, make sure that you guys are up. If you're listening to the podcast and you're in South Texas, make sure you guys are up and up. Make sure you buy that toilet paper, folks. You know what's up. Make sure, just toilet paper. Don't need anything else.
Why was that a thing that's so weird, yo? I'll never get over that. Why everybody went apeshit for the fucking the toilet paper?
People like to wipe, man.
People can just be taking a lot of shit.
People just be like, man, dude, like, because when I'm scared and sick, I shit all over the place.
I mean, it makes sense now that you put it that way.
I tell everybody, make sure get a bidet. Get a bidet, folks. You'll thank me later. You'll thank me later when you run out of toilet paper.
You have a bidet in your house?
I have a bidet.
You do?
I do. Yeah. Straight up, right after the coronavirus, dude. Like, not even kidding, man. I was like, I'm gonna buy a bidet because that was a weird time in our lives. But I do use less toilet paper.
You wasn't wiping your butthole. You would just.
I was using regular toilet paper at the time.
Okay, but you would just
wash. With a bidet, you don't use as much
because you
spray the water up. Spray the water up, and it goes all the way in your lower intestine, dude. The water goes all the way up there.
You lose Chris for a half hour. We're wondering where he is. He's in the bathroom, fucking with the bidet.
Giving yourself a fucking proper enema every time you take a shit, dude. It goes up like fucking goes all the way up into your intestines.
We lost Chris again. He's in the bathroom. I don't think he's coming out anytime soon.
Why is he yelling, man? Why is he moaning in there? That's crazy as shit.
Disrespecting the bidet.
I'm telling you, man. No. But on the real, a bidet is a good investment. I think so. But you know what? Like, but then again, you have to remember, man, if you go into different cultures, bidets are normal. Like, you know what I mean? Bidets are pretty fucking normal in other countries.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, I have just like a $40 one. And that's just
a cheap one.
Yeah, there's like cheap ones, dude. And it's
so
like,
you got one that just goes up to the gooch. It doesn't even reach your butthole.
It just sprays water and that's it. But like,
you got to travel. You got to
imagine. You have to imagine. And during the winter time, when the water's cold, that shit is not comfortable, man. That motherfucker is not comfortable. So I do recommend that people get into, like, if they're gonna go with a bidet, try to get something high end, something with a warmer at least, man. Jeez, yo, in Japan, have you ever seen like some of the bidets that these people got? Like, it's crazy, man. It's super crazy. Lemon says flood insurance. Make sure you guys got it. Oh yeah, well hell yeah.
So wait, when it's cold, you be cold as hell in your bathroom.
And you still use the bathroom normal.
You just be spraying the cold, freezing water on your fucking ass.
The thing is it just gives me an option. Like, I could just use toilet paper, or I could use the bidet. You know
That's
what I mean?
funny.
Or
That's
like
funny.
with the bidet, you still kind of use both, but yeah, dude, I recommend it. If people don't want to get it, that's fine. I get it. It sounds kind of weird,
Nah, it's
but
just funny. I like fucking with you.
now that they're kind of more out there selling them like at super stores or like Walmarts and stores, like I recommend it to everybody. Wait, what does he say? Gotta dry your colon at least a little bit. 2 squares, 1 finger, 2 knuckles, and done.
I'm,
Well, yeah,
I'm
you gotta dry up.
I'm envisioning the bidet you have with the same pressure as like the 1990 Super Soaker, just
Just shooting up in there.
that's what I
Yeah.
envision.
No. It does have different pressures and all that stuff. You guys should look into it, man. I'm telling you, man. Like $40 and it's super easy to install. It ain't anything too crazy. It's super worth it. And like I said, you end up buying and using less toilet paper, less clogging in your bathroom. You can't go wrong. Cannot go wrong. But straight up. All right. What do we got? Okay. So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
What's that?
Actually, let's talk about it. It's less of an elephant and it's more of a beetle. Small little blue little beetle. Small little blue beetle. Blue Beetle just released. Brian, how are you feeling about Blue Beetle? Are you gonna check it out? Are you gonna watch it? If you guys are in the comment section, have you seen it? Let us know in the comment section what you guys think. What do you think about Blue Beetle so far, man? I mean, trailers and all this other stuff. Are you pretty excited to check it out?
No, that's my short answer. I'm not going to see this movie. I'm not interested at all. But this segment that we're about to have right now is not more about me, sir. It's going to be more about you. All right.
Yeah, so, yeah, the representation part. Right?
I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the short answer. No, I'm not going to see this movie. I'm not interested in it.
So even on a whim, like you're not interested in it at all?
No.
Okay.
No, because probably for the same reasons why you don't want to see it. But here, why don't you explain to the fans listening?
I'm not as excited as a lot of people are. I do know the comic books fairly well, of course. From even in the animated series, Young Justice, Teen Titans. Blue Beetle's always been like a pretty prominent character. Jaime Reyes's Blue Beetle is a little more nuanced. He's in the younger generation. There's been 2 previous Blue Beetles, and actually one of those Blue Beetles, the first one, I forgot his name off the top of my head, but he was really, really good friends with Booster Gold and played like a really, really important part in the development of DC during like the Golden and Silver Age comics.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. And I mean, I'm cool. Like, I mean, I'm not really hyped to go see this. I don't really clamor at movies when the idea that they're selling to me is just based on representation. What I want a good story, and I want a good format going into the future of what this place holds. And right now, DC hasn't given us any of that. So like for them to be like, yo, come watch this movie, Mexicans, because Mexicans and there's Mexicans and Mexicans in it, I'm going to be like, okay, cool. Like, but where does this go from here? Like, how do you handle the character going forward? Like, is he just going to be like a comedy trope like the whole time? Will we be going into deeper stories of the Blue Beetle? Are we going to be going into bigger arcs like the what is it, the Judas Project, or the one that they had in Young Justice, where are they going to build a Young Justice? Like, there's a lot of great story arcs that come with this that don't really have to clamor at the idea of anything of being representation. I like representation. I prefer that, but I don't want to be told that I have to like it. I want it to be organic. I want them to build a character, delve deep into the character development, and then let me like them. Don't tell me to like them. You know what I mean? Like I told you, like I came in and I bit the bullet and I said, you know what? Like Namor did really good. For what it's worth, when Black Panther 2 came out, Namor was a pretty badass character. And I was super against Namor from the beginning because I know what they did with the character. But they didn't have to tell me that I needed to like it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And right now I feel like that's the thing. Like the Blue Beetle, like all the advertisement has just literally been about the representation part, which is fantastic. That's great if that's what they're going with. But from what I'm hearing from people that are just going is that the movie's mid. Like it's not really going anywhere. It doesn't really develop the characters very good. It's just Mexican jokes. Hey, here's some Mexican jokes.
Well, just as a side note, I do want you to finish, but just as a side note, as of right now, Rotten Tomatoes has got a 91% audience score.
Rotten Tomatoes said it was good for Secret Wars 2, man, or Secret Invasion when it first started. You know what I mean?
No, it didn't. It had one of the lowest Rotten Tomatoes ever. They're pretty accurate. I think the audience scores are more accurate when it comes to the
what was it? Did they have an audience score up already?
Yeah, like I said, it's 91%. This is the audience score.
For Blue Beetle already?
For Blue Beetle, yeah.
Well, I mean, cool, man. I mean, some people are gonna like it, and then of course, like the whole thing.
91%. That's more than some people.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna say that that's wrong. I can't go and tell those 91% of people that they're wrong. If they liked it, they liked it, and it's cool. Like, there's a lot of people that like the Flash. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it is what it is. I mean, people have opinions, and that's cool. Like, if that's what they need to get entertainment, I'm fucking cool with that.
I don't think it's more so that that's what they need. I think it's more so they watched it and liked it. Yeah.
No, that's cool. But that's the thing. Like, you know, from other organizations and other platforms and other people, like, you get all this weird, diverse conversation. It goes back to the idea of, you know, what movies are good, what bad, what claims for a good movie, what's political, what's not political, what we just talked about this like off camera, where we were like, mostly every movie, no matter what, has a purpose. Like, it's going for some type of theme or some type of like audience that it's reaching. You know, look at Barbie and Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer will be up for an award soon, and it did not make the money that Barbie made.
What's it called? Huh? What was the movie
called? Oppenheimer.
Yeah, you got it.
Did I get it? I did. I said Oppenheimer. Okay. I did. I think I said it. I swear, dude, I said it right. But it didn't get as much audience. Well, I mean, it got an audience appreciation, but it didn't make the money that Barbie made. Like, why is that? Is that because it's a good movie or a bad movie, or because the IP of Barbie is just fucking huge compared to Oppenheimer?
That's that. There's been girls that are like 60, 70 years old that have been collecting Barbies their entire life.
Watching it 3 or 4 times.
Not only that, but Barbie has a mass appeal. Like, they appeal to a lot more people than Oppenheimer. You know what the audience for that is.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, that's the thing. Like that doesn't really like signify if it's a good or bad movie. What I'm going to see for a good or bad movie nowadays is the numbers when it comes out in the box office. Like, who goes to go see this movie? Because the thing is like we said, there's been times where we've noticed that Rotten Tomato just like, boom, throws some type of weird ass rating up, and it's fucking super high, and everyone's like, this movie sucks. Like, literally.
That's my only thing. Again, if the 91% was on the side of the critics, I will agree. They have been completely off for some of the bigger movies that have released. But the audience score is usually spot on. They're not really too far off from where the consensus is about a movie. So the fact that it's 77% for the critics and 91% for the audience, I think it should be worth a shot. Now, am I going to see it? No. Okay. But I think that if this were a movie where it was a representation of African Americans, I would go see it.
You'll go check it out just to check it out?
I would go just to support it, because I was saying off camera, it's not even about this movie. This movie could blow. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even about that. It's about, I want the Mexican actor to get another gig, or the director to get another gig. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like in that support. If no one goes to see this movie, I don't know what that says about the people that were working in production to make this movie happen. So,
I mean, for me, it's one of those things like I want quality stuff.
Yeah,
and I understand that these people are all trying to get work and do this stuff, and then not only that, the writer's strike is going on, and they're fighting a huge titan that they're fighting against to make sure that they get some living wages and working wages and whatnot. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the director already told the actors like to just go ahead and head back and support the Screenwriters Guild and all that stuff, the strike, and get back out there, that they don't have to promote the movie as much anymore. It's like I said, like, representation is great. I think it's a fantastic thing, but you cannot make that your selling point and your driving point, and then expect people to support you if you bring a product that's not quality. And that's what I fear most. I fear that these bigger companies hire minorities or people of color to make products so that they can force that agenda on people, and then they can just let whatever they want out. But I mean, of course, like those people, like the director is not going to just throw some shit out. I hope, like just to throw it out, just to make a couple of bucks. You know, I think he's going to put something out that he cares for, that he wants to happen. You know, that he wants to make work. But the biggest thing to me is, I think I told you this off camera, that the ups of DC were saying that if this movie does not do well in the box office, that they're going to keep the character but just scrap the story.
Listen, I'm not even going to allow you to continue with that, because we all know it's not, honestly, it's not going to happen regardless. Whether this movie makes a lot of money, whether it doesn't make any money, I don't think James Gunn is proceeding with his universe with anything that was made before he was on board.
So you don't think they're going to keep the Blue Beetle guy?
I don't.
No. So you think they're going to cut this guy already?
I think James Gunn is going to cut everything that has to do with anything that came before he took over.
Because he was at the premiere for Blue Beetle, right?
Yeah. Why do you think he was there?
Beetle.
Why do you think he was there? Why would he show support?
Because he's the main guy of DC right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right.
It would be in his best interest. Yeah, it would be in his best interest to make sure that the movies like The Flash and Blue Beetle, they make as much money as possible while he is at the helm. So
this is a website called. We're just looking at this. I just brought this up. This isn't something that we had planned. We're just talking about it. Superhero hype. I just typed it in. It just came up. And it says, sharing a photo taken at the premiere. James Gunn is there with what's his face, right? With Peter Safran, which is his old manager and whatnot. At Blue Beetle screening with my partner, Peter Safran. His
partner, bro.
I can't wait. Well, he used to be his manager when he first started off in LA. That's where their history began.
Yeah, but right now they own the fucking. Yeah.
They run
the fucking DC. Yeah.
So it says, I can't wait for the audience to meet Jaime Reyes, who will be an amazing part of the DCU going forward. So you think you don't think he's going to be like staying with him? I think the story they might clear.
How many times you going to let this guy trick you, bro? We just sat here last week and talked about the whole Gal Gadot thing, right? He supposedly told her that she was staying too, right?
But that was okay.
And Henry Cavill was under the impression that he was staying too, right? And supposedly there was a conversation between him and Ben Affleck that he was going to come on to direct or produce a future movie, which Ben Affleck completely denies, saying he wants no part of that. Sky is lying to you.
So the big thing about those was that those were those people coming out with the conversation, not James Gunn. James Gunn then having to come in and say, hey, you know what? Like, we didn't agree to that. It's going to be different. You know, I'll let you know when I let you know. But this is coming from James Gunn's Twitter, who he's very passionate about.
And again, just think about it.
Why would it about telling people and stuff?
Why would you not want to support this movie? Like it's connected to the people that are paying you right now, and you want them to succeed. If they succeed, you succeed. So it just makes sense as to why you would. All right, let me ask you a question. Do you think we're going to get Ezra Miller moving forward as the Flash?
Wait, we're going to get Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so, because of the fact that they saw the outcome of keeping him there with all the things that he did wrong, and people were still clamoring at the idea that they wanted answers. Okay. But the thing is the video producer or whoever it was, the second DP or whatever, came out and was like, it's going to be so good, you're going to forget all the bad shit he did. Like, that's what they were going with. They were hoping that the community was going to come out and support this dude, even with all the shit that he did. And it didn't work. People were still like, fuck that dude. And then the movie completely sucked. Everything got derailed.
But you're also missing a point.
They're not going to keep
You're missing a point there where also James Gunn supported that movie as well, with no intentions on keeping this kid, even though it was up until he gave him support. He said it was one of the best movies he's ever seen.
Yeah, Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg and everybody.
No, and James Gunn.
Yeah, specifically. No, I know. He's trying to make money, man.
So what's the difference here?
Well, the difference here is that this kid's still fairly new. bringing a bright new character into the DC universe. I just don't know if it's going to be in the same thing of what James Gunn wants. And that's what I was talking about earlier. And this is like, am I going to go to this movie because of the Latino representation? I'm going to try to go check it out, hopefully by midweek, if not next week. But I'm not going for that. I'm going to see if it's going to make sense to what I think James Gunn is going to do with the DC universe. All the DC movies have been slightly serious, more of a serious tone, you know, not taking itself too serious, very Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
And all the ones that have been kind of comedy based have not done well. And it just so happens that this movie is going to be primarily comedy. It's literally a comedy superhero film. So like a very, I don't know how to explain it, but from what I've heard people say is it's a fun movie. A lot of stuff that reminds us of The Valley, which I don't know if that's going to like apply to a lot of people around the world, if that makes sense. But other than that, like I don't really hear a lot of stuff of being a good superhero story or like a good serious like superhero film. It's just mid. It's just mid, and that's great. If DC pulls off mid, I'm okay with that because DC's been below par for a really long time. So if they can get something, if they can get a win, it can get a win. If Jaime Reyes, which I really think this kid's gonna stay. You know, they didn't even let him audition for the part. They wrote the part for him. They literally knew this kid had it from Cobra Kai.
The old regime, though.
Huh? Oh, I guess. I don't know. The director is the one that hit him up, which is the director that's a part of the thing. So I don't know if they're going to keep this director either. Do you know if they're going to keep this director going forward?
How would I know? I don't know. Like, how would I know?
Yeah, I don't know that. I'm not James Gunn. Let me make sure I'm hitting up our comment section because I want to make sure that we're letting these guys know that we're watching.
Yeah.
Lemon says, bring back Beetleborgs. I've heard that a lot from people talking about the costume, but the costume looks fucking fantastic though. It looks fucking great in the movie. Gino Biscuit. I can't even say that stuff. Airborne herpes bumps. Wrong Rick. I'm gonna just call you Wrong Rick. Honestly, don't know about the Blue Beetle lore. I liked the way the trailer looked. Doubt I'll see it though. Gotta let us know why. I want to know why. Lemon says something that's been in a lot of Hispanic people's lives that know this. George Lopez is in it, so it sucks. George Lopez is not a person that only recently he's come out and tried to acknowledge this, but he's always been dick with a lot of the culture and the entertainment scene with Hispanics. So there's a lot of people that don't like him. A lot of people in our culture that don't like him.
I would have rather you have just said that you just are boycotting fucking George Lopez than
wait, what?
All that other shit. I would have rather you just told me, man, fuck, because I'm not gonna see the movie because fuck George Lopez.
Yeah, I know that he doesn't have like a big like. I know that a lot of people don't like him. So that's one part also, but it's not anything
good,
like
though,
like
man. I've been reading that he's been good in this movie, dude.
Yeah. So Rongo Rick then says, I've heard it's like a low tier MCU Marvel movie. Ooh, dude, for reals? Damn. Yeah, people like Tom Cruise. If you consider him a people, I don't give a shit what color you are. Are you creative? Do you listen to the fans? Do you honor the source material? That's all I give a crap about. I don't want to say the bad words too much. But you know what? Okay, so I think we've reached a part in film and Marvel and DC and all this stuff that it's hard to stick to the source material. It's hard. Like you have to modify it. You just can't. You just can't. They're too deep in the mess. I mean, James Gunn, for what it's worth, since they're doing a whole recap and a redo and all this shit, like maybe he goes back and sticks to the source material a little bit more, but like we're way past source material now, man. I mean, look at Secret Invasion. Like Secret Invasion was like a hard hit. It was a hard hit on source material. He also Henry Cavill put out a video saying that he was going to play Superman again. And like 2 days later, James Gunn was like, nope. James Gunn was absolutely not. And then Wrong Ho Rick says, I'm sick of comedy superhero movies. And, hey, Rob comes in and says Blue Beetle was a Valley brother. Oh, shit. That was a Valley, bro. So, okay, so I know for sure my boy Biggie, Robert Flores in the comment section that you've seen it. Write us a little thing what you think. And I know you like that movie because Rob loves everything, man. Rob loves everything. But let me know and be a little critical. I want you to be a little bit critical. No one's going to dislike you if you're a little bit critical. All right. I want you to tell me what you truly think. I know it's funny. I know it's a comedy. But like,
what if he loved it, though? Like, what if he loved it? What if he doesn't have anything bad to say about it?
I know, dude. But Rob loves everything. Rob loves everything. He saw Strays and he was like, "Yo, that movie was awesome." Dogs were like banging each other.
I'd rather watch. Honestly, I would
I'd
rather
rather watch Blue
watch
Beetle.
Strays. I would rather watch
You would watch
Strays
Strays and Blue Beetle.
personally. Yeah, that looks funny.
Oh shit! I would
I
rather
like
watch.
that. I
I would
like
rather
that
watch
kind
Blue
of
Beetle.
humor.
Oh, okay. So you're okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Hey, yo, what's up, Valdez? By the way, what's up? What's up, man? Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, so you're probably not going to see the Blue Beetle. I'm going to try to check it out within a week or so. I'm not super hyped about it, but I do want to see it. I want to see what James Gunn's got going on. If this is what he said it was going to say, like where he was like, Blue Beetle is officially going to be the first character and first story of our new DCEU going forward.
Where would you put him?
Huh?
Where would you put him? In
Young Justice.
In the Young
Just
Justice?
Young Justice. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Like that's as far as it goes. But that's like Damian Wayne's is coming out because they know they're doing the Batman story with Damian Wayne. You know what I mean? Power Girl, they're going to be doing the Amazonian woman. I mean, the possibilities are there. Like the possibilities are, and Young Justice, that animated series and that comic book has a lot of people that support that shit. It's a great story. It does have possibility to be something really, really good. I think so. But they just have to do it right. They got to do it right. And the thing is comedy works. So
you're telling me that James Gunn's Endgame.
You know what? I'm going to say this right now. I really think that what James Gunn is going to do is he's first going to do Teen Titans, and then their Teen Titan movie is going to go second to Young Justice, and that's going to be them going to their next like adult iteration of their characters. That's going to be their next growth.
That's going to take.
That's gonna take a long motherfucking time.
You think James Gunn is gonna be around that long?
Yeah, he'll kick it. I mean, he'll be here. I mean, he's what?
He said he'll kick it.
Mid-50s. He'll be like 70.
Motherfucker's gonna get fired in the next 4 years, bro.
I mean, look, watch. This is the way I see it because this is the way DC works. If he makes some movies and it makes them money, they don't give a fuck. They'll be like, cool, here's some more cash. Go make us more money. And they don't give a shit what he does. Like fucking Swamp Thing can come out and just lay a fucking wiener all over like whatever city he's in. It's just a big tree wiener. And if it makes cash, like Warner Brothers is like, all right, cool, like run with it. I don't care. As long as it makes some money, they don't give a shit. And right now, I think just like every other more major corporation, like they just need to make money. They just need to make money. And it just so happens that they lucked out that they got a director that people like, James Gunn. Like people like James Gunn. They like his work. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Guardians of the Galaxy, the trilogy, like that's what he's laying on as his like, yo, this is my resume. Like, don't look at Suicide Squad. Look at my Guardian stories. Don't look at Slither too much. Look at my Guardian stories. Like, but it's not wrong. I mean, he did a fantastic job with the Guardian story. In fact, his last Guardians 3 movie, like, was probably the best thing that's come out of Marvel in literally like 3 or 4 years. Like, that's sad. That's sad to say. That's really sad to say. Because they've released a lot of fucking material. But yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like I said, I'll probably go check it out. For the trailer, looks kind of fun. It does remind me, Biggie, if you're still in the comment section, maybe you can answer this for me. But was this Blue Beetle very much like the way Iron Man 1 was? Like with the way the story was, minus the whole fact that like his whole family like fights with him or gets like weapons, which I don't understand, but like I feel like it's going to be a very Iron Man-ish movie, like the way the costumes are, maybe the way the fights are. I know that the villain is going to be like a bigger version of his character, like the way the first movie was with the Ironmonger. Like I kind of feel like it's going to be in the same format, which I mean, all right, that's cool. Maybe they need their Iron Man. Maybe this is their Iron Man. I wouldn't put my money on it though.
Maybe.
Yeah. Did you ever put that into 2 parts? Like you were like, oh shit, the fights may look a lot like Iron Man and shit like that.
Honestly, I didn't get that far. I knew that I wasn't seeing this movie, so I didn't spend too much time thinking about what the fuck it was gonna look like. But you know what I'll do though? Okay. Wait. You know what I'll do though? I will wait. I'll wait. I'll see how you like it. If you like it,
yeah. And if I tell you it's good, you'll go check it out.
I'll go check it out.
Yeah. But okay, so let me ask you then, because how you said it earlier, it makes a lot of sense because Latinos are the primary audience target, right? But as a person that's not the primary target, like, did this movie at all like grab your attention to want to go check it out or no?
No, and it's not because of
The representation
the
or the
representation or
target or
anything.
whatever.
I am not interested to see that superhero movie.
Now, why?
I don't think the trailers really impressed me. I don't
Mhm.
think that he's coming back as Blue Beetle, so this movie is basically for nothing. Because even he said he had an interview and he was asked directly as to his future with James Gunn's DC universe. And he straight up said, I think it's going to depend on how this movie does.
Oh, you know
So
what? I
no
think I
matter
do
what,
remember seeing that.
yeah, so no matter what, and this was just like maybe like a week or two before the movie dropped. So like I don't think it makes a difference, honestly. So it's great that you guys are falling for the whole James Gunn rah rah pom pom shit, but he's been doing it over and over and over again for like the last year and a half.
Yeah,
I don't think he has any plans. Anything that was from the old regime, which again, this movie is,
he's getting cut.
it's going away.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to associate himself with it. But I do like your theory about if he does stay, he'll be for the justice, the
The
Young
Young
Justice.
Justice and Teen
But
Titans and
I
stuff.
just I don't see James Gunn sticking around that long. Like that's gonna
Yeah.
take some considerable time in order for him
Yeah,
to
and that
get
wasn't
there.
even mentioned in the roster of like films and in the slate of what he brought out. Remember?
Yeah, that's gonna be a few down the line, maybe. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
So it's safe to say that it would be pretty surprising if you heard that this kid was going to continue in the DC universe, like the
Yeah,
character itself, not really the kid,
especially
but just the character itself.
especially because I don't think this movie's gonna make any money.
So
I
you
think
think
it's
it's going to be probably about the same thing that's been going on?
Yeah, I think it's gonna tank. Yeah, and I think it's solely because I don't think anybody has any faith in where this is going,
He doesn't have a structure or a path yet, right?
other than him saying that he's the first person in the DCU. That's
Yeah,
it.
the
That's what he got from
DC
that.
or the new one. And you know what's even crazier is I think that this movie was made in the patch of like where Batwoman was.
It
And
was. It was.
right? So like that
Yeah.
was the thing. Like Batwoman, in the sense of what it was, however they thought it was so bad that they were like, throw it away, trash it, put it on fire. Like we're not even going to try to like stream this, like even to try to save face, like nothing, like just throw it away.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, well, between these movies, we're going to keep this Blue Beetle film.
Mm-hmm.
But like the speculation has been, like you said, the kids come out in interviews and says, well, I don't know. It all determines how it's accepted and how it makes money or whatever. James Gunn has come out and said, hey, you know what? Like, I'm really excited for him to be in the DC universe. But on the aspect of it too, the other thing was like what I had heard, which was like, they're saying it's either the character's story does not stay because it doesn't get a good, it doesn't make a lot of money or it doesn't get a lot of acceptance. And then they just get rid of it. They're not afraid to cut characters. Like we saw that with Batwoman. Like we saw that there, and that was extremely confusing at the time because we were all like, wow, they cut a whole ass movie and they're not even going to show it. Like this I mean, the joke was like, oh, this movie had to be shit. Like, oh, it had to be super bad. But I mean, we've seen bad in the last couple of years. And I don't think a movie can be really, really that bad. Like enough for it to be like, yo, don't even like show anything on it. Like let everybody not make money. Fucking Michael Keaton who was in it? Like Michael Keaton was supposed to be in
Nah,
it.
they got paid, bro.
Yeah,
Fuck
well,
that.
I
The
thought
movie
they
don't.
better
The
got
movie doesn't
paid.
have to come out. They got
Brandon,
paid. I
dude,
think.
even on that, Brandon Fraser has been on an uptick for like the last 2 years because of all the drama he dealt with back in the day and then his comeback story. Right? The whole comeback story to Brandon Fraser. And he was the major villain in this film and they cut that fucking film. Like that's a crazy move to do. That's a crazy like piss off the fans kind of thing, right? Brandon Fraser could have PR'd that shit and rotated it and made it a whole like they hate me and then just get everybody to hate fucking DC and Warner Brothers altogether if they wanted to.
I think they're
You know
doing
what
a
I mean?
good job. They're doing a good job without Brandon
Yeah,
Fraser's
fucking it up
help.
all on their own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. I wasn't excited for a Blue Beetle film when they said they were going to come out with it. I was more surprised they were going to do that rather than like a Robin film or a Raven film or one of the primary more important characters of the teams. Like Robbie Reyes, I guess he's a cool fine. But you know what this reminded me of?
Fucking party pooper, bro.
No. You know what it reminded me of for reals? This is what we're always talking about in the Marvel world. We know that Marvel wants to do a Nova film, but now it's between them for Nova. It's Richard Rider, who has the crazier, cooler, badass arc, or Sam Alexander, who's the younger iteration, cool, hip, newer with the times, and is dealing with like being a kid, being a superhero. But which one will Marvel choose to bring out? Story wise, richer story is going to be Richard Rider, but Nova's going to target to a younger generation and a younger crowd. You know what I mean? This is like almost the same format. Blue Beetle has a very rich history in the older characters, but the Jaime Reyes character is the younger one, Teen Titans, comedy, funny, and all the animations and all the video games. Like he contributes more to the younger generation of the crowd. And I that's the only reason I think that they went with this character is because he's more in media now than the two older characters. But I think they missed that opportunity to grow an organic character. They could have done an origin story, half of it, then send the Beetle to this guy, which I hope they do. So, Robert comes in the comment section and says, all right, Blue Beetle, I liked it. I liked it because of the Mexican culture. Do you like the grandma? The grandma was kind of cheesy, super cheesy. And that was the complaint. And it would have, I think it would have had to be the money, or I don't know. You know what he's saying there?
He's saying that if he had the money, he would watch the movie. Like he's recommending.
Oh, okay.
If you got the money,
if
you got the money,
go check it out.
Go check it out.
But the grandma's part was a little bit over the top.
Like the grandma.
Yeah, it was a little over the top. I mean, it's understandable. That was the same thing with like Coco, man. Coco, the grandma's all super hardcore. Everybody loves grandmas. So what they do. And they're always crazy with chanclas, right, guys? You know what's up. Yeah, but I'll probably go check it out later. Onwards to the next one. This is a small snippet. Guys, I had the opportunity to watch Gal Gadot's Netflix movie called Heart of Stone. It just released last week. It's very much espionage and all this other stuff. I kind of feel like it takes from what was that? What's that movie? What's that fucking movie? Keanu Reeves, John Wick. Shit, I almost fucking forgot the name of John. It kind of takes from that John Wick.
Said, what's that movie?
Yeah, dude, you see that shit? Like I was like, damn, dude, my brain's slipping. John Wick with the whole like secret organizations that are like deep espionage that are not a part of like a government issue thing. They're like the superhero genre of the spy stories.
Yeah.
So the whole story is that Gal Gadot's character works for, I think, like the CIA or the FBI, but in the aspect of it too, she is also part of an organization that's very much like the hotel, the what's it called, the Constantinial or the Centennial? Yeah, whatever it's called, I don't remember.
The Continental.
The Continental, yeah. Oh, they're making a movie about that too, and it looks sharp.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that because she is embedded in the CIA, part of this like other organization, and they're trying to stop, crimes, terroristic threats, and all this other stuff. And then the story is there's a group of people that are after their equipment that they have that makes them one step above the rest.
Okay.
It's okay. It's not a bad movie. I would give it like, I would say like a 7.5 out of a 10. I really think that Red Notice was a lot better. I think it was better written, and it didn't really push so much on the CG of the environments. Because there's like a lot of like Mission Impossible style situations, like in a hot air balloon or flying through the air. And the CG does kind of take you to, for me, it took me kind of like out of the experience.
Okay.
But other than that, Gal Gadot, charming as usual. All the characters she with kind of plays off her very well. Gal Gadot plays a very cool, like 007 style character very much. And her team of people, you feel a little bit. I don't think there's a lot of build on it, but you're just like kind of like foretold that there is like an emotional connection between her and her team. One, the CIA team that she makes relations with previous, and then of course the Stones, the Heart of Stone guys or whatever they're called, like in their team also. Like they have just two separate teams. It's just really weird. But she's kind of like forced to make decisions that she has to be like the rebel in the organization. Gotcha. So It's a good watch. I mean, it's you know what it's one of those things. Like if you're gonna be doing something, you want something in the background. It's very much that kind of movie.
So it's background noise.
Yeah, it's like a yeah, because Red Notice like that takes your attention.
Okay.
Because The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot all together, they bring such a dynamic to the film. I got kind of like with like the chase scene later on, like it was a little too much, like too long. But their acting together was very, very good. You know, the comedy.
I don't know, man. I don't think you sold me on that movie, to be honest with you. I think
Which one, Red Notice or what?
I know the Heart of Stone. You said it's background noise. I'm not fucking watching that.
I mean, to me, it's just one of those movies that you would be like, well, I don't got much to do. I guess I'll put something on. And then you just
know
watch
how much content is out there in the world, bro. I'm not gonna waste my fucking time.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But you know what? Like, could I recommend this? I mean, yeah, dude. If you're gonna drink like a hot coffee and it's cold and you want to get in a blanket and shit and you want to watch some,
that's what this movie makes you want to do.
It's like a fucking Christmas special, dude.
Make some hot chocolate real quick.
Yeah, and just fucking coil up and get all Gal Gadot in a couch and shit.
Watching.
Get all Gal Gadot in the couch. Yeah, other than that, the movie's it's all right. It's all right.
All right. I'm gonna pass.
I bet you it was probably better than Blue Beetle though.
Hard pass. Yeah, no, I honestly I don't know. I'm banking on this. I'm banking that you're gonna come in here next week and on camera you're gonna have to say to me and everyone that's listening.
Oh, dude, I'll say it.
I like this movie.
I'll say it. You want to know one of the things that took me away from not liking it though?
What's that?
The bus cutting scene.
The what?
The bus cutting scene in the trailer.
Okay.
Because that literally was like right out of Doctor Strange 2.
It was.
That was a little too on the like right on the nose. I was kind of like just imagine if they're just taking the same assets and they're just like, hey, bro, like you have that CG you used for Doctor Strange. Can we borrow it? Yeah,
listen, my only gripe with this movie before, and again, mind you, this is before anybody has seen it. But my gripe is that they just completely ripped off the Guyver, bro.
Oh, dude, yeah, fuck yeah, David Hayter Guyver 1 and 2 back in the day.
Yo, bro, that costume, that story, kind of
it's awesome.
the like costume mutilation aspect of it. That's the Guyver, bro. Like I know that shit when I see it, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty much almost the same like character minus the blood.
It's a live suit that chooses its host and just takes over completely. That's fucking Guyver, bro.
That'd be a cool movie for them to return to, right? The Guyver.
I think that would be cool. I think it would be cool.
Yeah,
I never saw the second one though.
The second one's better than the first.
Get the fuck no. That's
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
That's cap.
The action is way cleaner, dude, in the second movie.
That's cap, bro.
Straight.
The Guyver one was good. I can't believe that the second one is better.
Guyver one was wild as shit. When you see Mark Hamill turn into a fucking cockroach, and you're just like, "Yo, that was Luke Skywalker, my dude."
Fucking Luke Skywalker. Dude.
What are you doing, man? Like, yeah, no, but the second fucking film has like just an amazing fight scene. I'm gonna do it like Joe Rogan right now. I'm gonna be like, "Yo, Joey, look it up or whatever." Or what?
I'm hard to believe that that second movie is better than the first one. The first one really wasn't even that good. It was just really wild for the time.
Yo, I don't even know. I don't want to show blood, dude.
Listen, I listen. You don't have to play it.
Check it. I got you.
You got me.
Hold on, I just gotta I'm gonna try to get past the commercials real quick.
But yeah, dude.
So tell me, dude, Guyver, can you hear it? I don't want to be too loud. So I mean, fucking spoiler, it's fucking 1989 and shit.
Fucking 88, 87.
The villain gets a Guyver. The villain finds one of the suits and but it's cracked in the middle. So it's kind of like, fucking corrupted or whatever. The fight scene, dude, the fighting is so much better in this than part one.
Maybe, bro.
No, straight. Watch. I'm gonna fast forward this shit.
The dude got his ass in the first one. The dude got his ass kicked, and then the one guy tore the fucking eye out.
Yeah, tore the eyeball out. They do the same thing in this one. Like, dude, it's so over the top, the action, dude. And he lands on his feet, dude. You know what this reminded me of? Growing up, did you ever see the what was it? Warriors of Virtue, the kangaroos and shit?
I know of it, but I never watched it.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before, but like that kind of stuff. Dude, look at that action. That's already like cinematography and action wise, like way better than the first film. Now the first one was more like studio theatrical kind of like action. This one's like of that time, like the Ninja Turtles fight scene, like when they're fighting in the fucking cafe or whatever in the first movie. It's very clean work, dude. Very freaking clean. The suits are all silicone and they all move really well. Like a little over the top here. He tries to grab him off of the handstand. I don't know how that works, but yeah, but dude, like this is like it even kind of has that like the Mortal Kombat Johnny Cage versus Scorpion feel. Good speed on the action. The actors and stunt guys that they brought in do very, very well. Yo, that guy that's in not in the Guyver suit, the actor that plays the Guyver, that's Solid Snake from Metal Gear, dude. Like that's the voice of Metal Gear Solid Snake, like the one. Yeah, that's the dude. That's David Hayter, man. So, yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic. I recommend it. There is a whole other like fight scene in the woods. Look at that. Oh man, dude, man.
Well, this is what Blue Beetle reminds me of. It's that character, that story. That's what it definitely really reminds me of.
Guyver's blue also, man. Maybe they took his whole shtick, man, and they were trying to run with it.
Jacked his whole shit, bro. Just jacked his shit.
Yeah, that's straight. That sucks, man. That sucks. But yeah, going back to what we're talking about, Gal Gadot, Heart of Stone. The movie's pretty cool. It's fun. It's interesting. I don't know if it's going to be everybody's forte. Gal Gadot, of course, brings the smoke. She's awesome. Like I said, super charming. She does fairly well in the fight scenes. There's even some really cool nods to her being Wonder Woman. There's like a fight scene that they're doing in like not a hotel, but like an apartment, like in Manhattan or something, or like New York. And she does like, you remember in the first movie when she does the knee to the guy and flies through the wall or whatever? Like she hits the guy with a knee and pushes him into one of the scenes. And I was like, oh, dude, that's like straight out of Wonder Woman. Like how cool.
Okay,
like,
cool.
There's some really fun parts in it. There's some really fun parts. There's some stuff that's kind of like, I guess a little bit too extreme in the sense of like why would you do that? But okay, like I guess like why would you do that? But okay, but then again, I just chalked it up because it's like it's not a James Bond film. It's more of like a John Wick, Smoking Aces, like more of like a kind of like over the top spy film where everybody has like some weird secret powers or some shit, right? Like someone like they just have over the top shit. But at the very end, the stakes are raised very well. Okay. At the last part, like it's pretty cool. At the very end, like there comes this part. What's up, Chrissy? Good to see you in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in. We're talking about Heart of Stone, Netflix, Gal Gadot's new movie or film. Pretty cool though. I recommend it if anybody's got a little bit of time. I mean, it's not something I'm telling people that they got to rush to though.
The background. You literally just said, go check it out. You literally just said, go check it out.
No, but you know what? Like the reason why I say that is because a couple of weeks ago, I recommended Bloodhounds. Yeah. Right? I remember we recommended it. And I was like, yo, you need to see this movie. Yeah. Like you need to see this series. Like I was very requesting on people watching it because I think that is a great film. Like that's a great story. And I still think that's a little bit better than this one. But this one is like you can watch this. This is something like if you want to watch it and you want your kids to watch it, your kids can watch it too. And it's not overly violent. It's got a little bit of comedy to it. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's a good spy movie.
Okay.
It's a good spy movie. Yeah, then like I said, probably about a 7 out of 5, 7.5, 7.5 out of 10. So guys, if you get a chance, check it out. Recommend it. Onwards to the next part of the conversation. Let me see what Chrissy said. Chrissy said, I like it. Probably won't watch it again though, but it was good. You see, kind of like that. Very chill. Get away with it one time. Check it out. You know what? I think it was a little bit better than the Gray Man. And I know you said you were kind of like with the Gray Man. Like the Gray Man kind of took itself a little too serious. And the comedy was a little kind of on the niche, I guess. This one's a little bit more chill than that.
Okay.
But it's good. It's good. I would say it's better than the Gray Man.
I'm just not a Gal
Gadot
fan. I'm not Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
Okay, so you're just not really all that hyped about the character or
Wonder
the
Woman
lady
was really
actress?
good. I liked
Yeah.
her in Wonder Woman. I don't think there was anything else that I liked her in though.
You know what I've noticed though is that she kind of plays the same person in every film. Like
I can
from
see
Wonder
that.
Woman to Red Notice to just literally all of these films, it's always like the same delivery and all that stuff. And she just kind of plays this like almost like very nonchalant female character, and then all of a sudden can like turn it up to like 20 for like no ass reason. That was like X also. Yo, what's up, Raul, man? Good to see you in the comment section, man. It's good to see you. Raul sells a bunch of badass like comics and has like a whole shop. He does his vendoring and stuff like that. I've known him for a long time, but he has keys, bro. He has keys, like old school like comics that are like collectible comics.
Cool.
Like good stuff, good
Nice.
stuff.
It's pretty
Really
dope.
awesome collector. And he's going to be at Anime Fiesta. If anybody's out there that collects comics, go check him out. Highly recommended. Highly recommend my boy Raul. Onwards to the next part of the conversation, folks.
Let's go.
So this part of the conversation is going to be a little bit different because of the fact that we're kind of like retro nerds. At the same fact is we play video games. We love video games. So we're going to talk about a little bit of the video game world. We had some pretty interesting news drop. First, I wanted to bring this up because Brian, he's pretty good on his horror knowledge, and he likes horror films and some video games and stuff like that. And Rob in our comment section and some of our people that watch too love the horror game aspect too. Did you see and did you get the opportunity to check out or at least some reviews on the new Texas Chainsaw game?
Honestly, I haven't played it at all. I have seen some people play.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching like some streams of people playing.
They're pretty good.
I'm not a big fan. Like even of like the what was it? The not Nightmare, fucking Friday the 13th game. That
Oh
came
yeah,
out.
yeah.
I wasn't. I played that, but I wasn't a big fan of that game, and I think this game is like similar. So I'm not gonna buy it, but I do like watching people play. That makes sense.
Yeah. See, I'm not like a big horror fan. The only horror games that I kind of like that I'm really about is I'm a really big person that's driven by story, and the Five Nights at Freddy's story from where it started and where it's turned into kind of reminds me of the Treyarch Zombies storyline from Black Ops with Tank Dempsey, Takio, Nikolai, and Richtofen. I don't know if you remember like the old school zombie video game that had like the German scientist that's like always making fun of you and shit like that. That storyline, the Treyarch storyline, is huge when you get it breaking down, and it's all multiverse and like just a big heist, like a multiverse heist. It's really, really well written for it being based on something that was just like a mobile flash game to turning into something super grand because of the fan base. Like I really like those kind of stories, and that's where Five Nights at Freddy's has me. That's why I'm really excited about like where they are with the film and the books and even with the new series and the movies. But I did see that they released a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, and I think that's from the popularity from like recent horror games like Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th, where you have this like co-op style game. You can get with your friends. One person's the killer, everybody else is trying to do some type of not experiment, but like they have to get some projects or things done, goals done to be able to escape the process, right? And that's what I kind of feel like. Is that what this kind of game is like, kind of like clamoring to? Like,
yes.
Okay, so it's in the same format. So with this game, like when you're watching the streams or anything like that, Rob, I know Rob bought it. He got to play it the other day too. Are you able to do anything about like when you're fighting or like when you're running away from these guys? Because I've noticed like that's what didn't intrigue me about like Dead by Daylight and stuff like that. Is like all you can do is run. I think you have to. Your objectives is like to turn on a generator or to do something to be able to leave traps, and you're just constantly running. But like Friday the 13th changed it a little bit where you can do something to stun the Jason character. And I wonder because in this game, if I'm not mistaken, you're fighting against Leatherface and the family. But are you able to do stuff that actually like to injure them, to maim them, and then you can get away easier? Or is it constantly like they're like no power level? You just have to keep running at all times. Like, do you know?
I don't know. Like no.
See, because that's the only thing that trips me out. That's why I'm not really like hyped about those kind of games. I always like having the thing that, Resident Evil, right? If you're playing any of those games, you can literally beat the entire game with just a knife. Like you can kill every villain. You know, it takes time and a lot of video game skill to just like kill someone with just a knife. It's like the most basic weapon, but the possibilities there.
Mm-hmm.
But in Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, those games, like there's no way to end the villain. You're literally just having to find a way to escape.
Yeah.
So those kind of games, like they don't really catch my eye too much. But like, is this something that like you as a gamer, like, do you like to play these kind of games?
Again, I don't mind them. I don't run to them at all. I'm usually gonna buy this. Like, if I were to buy this game, I'm gonna buy it if it's on like discount or something in like the
Oh,
PS,
okay.
like the PS store or something like that. But like to rush out and get it, no, probably not. I am like I said, like even right now, I'm watching a walkthrough, not a walkthrough, but like somebody streaming. Like the graphics look great. Like
it looks fantastic.
it looks fucking amazing, to be honest with you. But if I want to play it, if I want to spend the time to do it, probably not.
Yeah.
At least not at like the full price point. I'm sorry if I sound cheap or whatever, but I'm not going to spend that.
Chrissy in the comment section says, "Good horror is hard to find. I think the video game I think video games have the best imagination when it comes to the storylines. So I'll be looking more into this game. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Rob told me there is a single player variation of this game. So like you can play just by yourself against like computers or whatnot. But I wonder if like when you play the game solo, does it play out the way the movie plays out? Like, are you going through like the entire film all the way to like the last characters running and the Leatherface is chasing you with the chainsaw, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anybody go through like what the game is. Well, no, I've watched Solo, but I haven't seen them like have the game explained. I'll jump in like midway and then just watch them like run through the house, run through the basement, things of that nature, like searching tackle boxes and shit. Like it's just like I would watch like a little bit of that and then I turn it off. But
I'm probably gonna be in the same boat. The game doesn't grab me yet when it comes to like a story, but I do feel like it's like a co-op style, like with friends kind of gameplay. That's what I kind of think it appeals to. So I'll probably just end up watching it on stream, wait a little bit, see if it's any good, and then go from there. But in the gaming world, we also got some other news too. We have, of course, Warzone, probably one of the biggest story video games in the world, the Call of Duty franchise, the Modern Warfare franchise, has got some big news going on. They're about to have a really big update coming up soon, and they are bringing back one of the characters from a historical part of the video game, right? Makalov is going to be making his return, which is a really, really big character in the history of Modern Warfare. Are you a player of the Modern Warfare games?
Not anymore. I haven't played in a very long time, but I know you used to play. Are you excited to have Modern Warfare 3 coming out?
You know what? Like I kind of like stuck my feet in the ground and kind of stood my ground when it came to what happened to Nick Merckx and Dr. Disrespect and Tim the Tap Man when they went and made an opinion and the companies went after Activision, kind of went after them and you know kind of tried to tear them down, and I really don't think that they were in the right set. So ever since then I really haven't been excited for something like Activision or Call of Duty or Modern Warfare or anything like that because of that situation. So I'm kind of like stuck in the mud here because like like the Makarov story is like a very, very interesting story with him and Soap and the guys from back in the day. Like, you know, I want to see where the story continues on. Yeah. And not only that, for me, I'm really excited because I ended up even hearing that they were bringing the Treyarch team to work on zombies coming to Modern Warfare 3. Now, for me, hearing that Treyarch is coming back, I just mentioned this a little while ago. I'm a really big fan, and I think that the greatest zombie shooter game ever has been Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 when it came to the zombie story. Mm-hmm. That's the Treyarch zombie storyline. If anybody wants to go check it out, it's wild. There's a bunch of like, you know, stories and lore explained. It'll be like an hour to watch, but it deals with all of this like cool like multi-travel and 3 different teams and you know them dealing with like God and and God splits in half and creates his like darker variations, and both of them are clamoring at the existence of life and creating them. So it's super crazy, man. It's super crazy. But I remember, of course, what gets me excited about that is because I remember when they initiated the story into the maps for the first time. Black Ops 2, when they brought in like that Western map, I think it was called what was it called? Dead something. I can't remember. That was so long ago. They brought in like a Western map where it was like Western underground in a cave, and then like they had Skyline, and they had all these other different maps, and so Shinonuma. They had a bunch of cool maps, man, and they were initiating this idea that there was this guy named Monty. You know, they have this one thing in the thing, like in the game, they have all these chalk guns drawn on the wall. They're kind of like, well, how did those get there? How do you get guns from it? Like what creates that thing, that magic? What's a mystery box? Who made the Pack-a-Punch? You know, who made a Juggernog? Who made a Speed Cola? Who made all the machines you drink from Quick Revive and all that stuff? And that's where it got really, really deep into the lore, and that's where it became really cool.
Who the fuck knows the lore of Call of Duty, bro? You
I'm
just
telling
pick
you,
up a
it's super
fucking
crazy.
gun. You pick up a fucking gun and shoot your fucking friends, bro.
You see, okay, so that's the beauty of this game, is that if that's your purpose, like that's there. Like that's there. That's 100% there. Get a gun, see how long you can last. Oh, my younger brother can get to round 12. Well, I got to get to round 15, or my friend can get to round 20, or you sitting down with a couple friends, getting in there and trailing zombies and rounding them up and keeping them to round 28.
Yeah.
And then, you know, trolling each other and stuff. And then there's that one time that you run and you find something that's a pickup thing. And then later on, you end up finding out that there's like a computer that there's a code in, and you're like, man, I don't know the code. That's stupid. I'm not going to do that shit. But there's a story behind that. You know, there's a reason why there's a Pack-a-Punch in the middle of that area that's covered by lava, and it's in the middle of that part. But like, why? Why is that story there? You know what I mean? Like there is a cool story there that's there if you want it. If you don't want it, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's cool. That's the beautiful part. But then when you get into it, and you realize that it's way bigger than itself, it just made for such great like a content creation when it came to that.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people that are out there that speedrunners that do like the zombie Easter eggs. There's some Easter eggs that are freaking crazy. There's some Easter egg stories that are really awesome. And then not only that, in some of these really, really great maps, there's been special guests. You know, they have Freddy Krueger, the guy that played Freddy Krueger, George Romero, the guy that made Night of the Living Dead, Michael Rooker's in one of them. All the Italian mob guys from like The Godfather and all that shit are in one of them. That's the prison one. Danny Trejo's in it. Like there's a cast. Freaking Michelle, what's her name? Michelle Gellar, the one that played Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay. Like she's even a member of the roster in this video game. Like of people that like out of nowhere, like it's so good. It's so good. If you ever get an opportunity, and I know it just sounds super weird, and you want to hear such a badass, interesting zombie storyline, type in Call of Duty Black Ops storyline. Like, and in YouTube, you'll find like a 35 minutes to an hour long, and just indulge for a minute. Just indulge for a minute. Did you ever see that one? Let me see if I can remember that zombie movie. There was a zombie movie that came out. Nazi zombie movie. Was it Dead Snow? No, not Dead Snow. Dead Snow's probably just as a Overlord. Do you remember that movie that came out a while back?
I didn't see it.
I'll put a picture.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, just in case if anybody's out there that's watching, Overlord. Thank you very much, Jesus Cervantes. Thank you very much, Jesus. Overlord. This movie, it came out right on the cusp of like the middle of Black Ops 2, going to Black Ops 3, and this was like the closest thing that we could ever get to the Treyarch story in film. It's like it has such a great fan base, dude. Such a great fan base. So
I'm reading right now. The drop date is going to be November 10th, which is a Friday, which is cool. So anyone that's out there that's anticipating this this new Call of Duty is coming soon, coming in a few months. And I'm
Yep.
reading, as you were talking right there, I was reading about exactly what's going to be changing in this game, and it sounds like it's gonna have its growing pains because it's gonna be a lot in this game.
Yeah.
So
Do I think it's going to be about this storyline? No, because we got a pretty definitive end in Black Ops 4, I think. We did get a pretty definitive end to the entire zombie story, except there's one part that kind of was left open-ended with the premise crew. I think it was a premise or
I'm reading
whatnot. It
right
was
now that they're going to go it's basically a brand new story
yeah.
of the zombies in this game. So
And there has been some newer iteration tellings from the Treyarch team and them trying to establish a new storyline. Very, very hard because I'm telling you, like the original Treyarch story had like huge fan base behind it, super crazy fan base. But from what I've heard, open world, it's going to be on the original Warzone map. So they're just reusing assets, which is all right. I mean, that works for me. And it's not going to be round based. It's going to be 60 minutes or 60. Yeah. Was it 60 minutes? Yeah. 60 minutes. And it's going to be the ones that exfil. It's going to be exfil style where you got to be able to take a plane and get out of there and you get to keep all your process and your build and stuff like that. But the thing is they're talking about, okay, so if it's not going to be by rounds, how do you gauge the difficulty of it? If it's open world and you do whatever you want, like how do you justify, like, when do the zombies get harder? When do they become easier? Like, it can't just be like hard 100%. And from what we're talking about, what they were talking about is it's going to be your position in the map. There's going to be a like almost like a circle to like the depth of the center of the map where you can kind of get to the Easter egg. And at the very core of the center of the map is going to be like it's going to be the hardest that the zombies will be. So like you can stay on the outside and kind of work the outside and just kind of make points and build your character. But if you head towards the center, it's going to be like the harder ones. So 24 players in a map, that's going to be insane. There's going to be a human element of danger, plus, of course, the zombie element of danger and large monsters. They were talking about like there being like the hardest monsters you can think of in the zombie storylines are going to be on this map. That's hard because in one of the maps of Treyarch's, they had a dragon that you had to fight. So, they got to have something harder than a dragon. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just imagine talking about a dragon in Warzone. You know what I mean? Like, how nuts is that? How nuts is that? Do I think it's cool? I mean, I think it's great. I think it's going to be a fun time. I think it's been a while that we've had a really, really great zombie first-person shooter game come out that's like this. Treyarch team knows how to make a video game, knows how to make a zombie story. So what's there to not look forward to?
True.
Yeah, what's there to not look forward to? That's what I'm excited for. And that's my noise in gaming. Did you have something that you wanted to talk about in gaming too? There was something else. There was it about Baldur's Gate?
Oh, yeah. So
what happened with Baldur's Gate?
So it's just going through normal new game issues. Mm-hmm. They're already on like their third patch already.
Yeah.
A lot of glitches, a lot of crashes.
But
you know what? I've been watching a lot of people streaming this game as well. And it looks pretty cool. The graphics on this looks really good too.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate is a crowd favorite. A lot of people, it's a game that comes from, years and years and years of fan base. So like for them to finally release a new one, there's a lot of people that are excited, and it's like hours and hours of gameplay. Hours and hours of gameplay. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say that it does have some mature content in it. So if you get the game and you want to get into streaming and all that stuff, make sure that you research it first so you don't get in trouble with your stream and stuff like that. But yeah, Baldur's Gate has a really, really nice fan base. So you guys make sure you check that out. Brian, you still with me, man? I think you froze up a little bit. Uh-oh. Let me message Brian real quick. I think he froze up. Let me see. Anthony Stars Lex. Let's see. You froze. Alrighty. Let me see in the comment section. Vince, nice to see you, my dude. Same thing with Jesus Cervantes. Thank you very much for jumping in the comment section. Anthony Starr as Lex Luthor in the new DC universe. I don't think that's right. Actually, what's really, really funny is that he was already. Oh no. Oh no. All right. All right. Well, Brian will be back in a little bit. His computer went down. It crashed, but he'll be right back. Anthony Starr. Okay, so Anthony Starr, this is super crazy, as a matter of fact. I'm going to be running this a little bit by myself, so let's see what I can do until Brian comes back. Anthony Starr is an adult star, an adult film star, who a lot of people online were clamoring at the idea of him being the next Lex Luthor in the DC universe. What was crazy is that ended up picking enough traction that James Gunn himself, on the Rosenbaum podcast, which is the guy who used to be Lex Luthor in Smallville, came out and said that that's really funny. He enjoys the little trolls that happen and the trolling that happens in the thing, but no, Anthony Starr is not going to be Lex Luthor. Wait, Anthony Starr, that's not him. Anthony, how do you even spell it? No, that's Johnny Sins. Yeah, Anthony Starr's fucking Homelander. Dude, Vince, what are you talking about, my guy? No, he's not going to be Lex Luthor. That'd be funny, though. But yes, no, that's Johnny Sins, right? Yeah, I could. That's Homelander. Yeah. I was like, what the heck, dude? Vince just making me freaking think. But that just blew my mind. So, no, the adult actor's name is Johnny Sins. Johnny Sins is this guy who's been in the adult industry for a while. And it ended up, yeah. Anthony Starr. That would be actually pretty cool and interesting to see him as Lex Luthor. But I'd actually like to see him play something else, because he's already doing such a great villain as Homelander in The Boys. Like, he's a fantastic villain in The Boys. So to see him be Lex Luthor in the DC universe, that'd be cool. But like, I don't know, man. All right. But yeah, I don't know if you guys had heard about this, but Johnny Sins, the adult film star, was being kind of like put out there that he was going to be the new Lex Luthor in James Gunn's DC universe. So James Gunn came out and said that it was not going to happen, and that was really, really funny. That was pretty good. Okay, so Brian said he'll be back in a little bit. It'll take him a couple minutes to jump on. He's got to reset his computer and do all that good stuff. For now, we'll just continue onwards to our next part of the conversation. Let's see. Actually, as a matter of fact, what I want to do is we'll probably start covering the last part of the discussion today. And the last part of the discussion today is, I don't know if anybody's heard this, but Marvel Comics. Okay, hold on. Toxic Avengers. Oh yeah, that's right. Toxic Avengers looks like it's getting a remake. They're bringing in Peter Dinklage to be the Toxic Avenger. And what do you think? What do you think about it? Do you think it's going to be good? You think it's going to be pretty cool? I'm not. That's about pretty much all I've heard about it. I have not at all heard the idea of people wanting to see at least another remake of the Toxic Avengers, but cool. Frisco, Texas is getting a Universal park. I did hear about that a while back. I actually heard about that a couple of months ago. Yeah, they're getting the mayor of that area, or the governor of that area, came out and told Universal Studios if they wanted to make a park, that they had a certain area of their city that is designated for if they want it. It's a big open area. That'd be fucking fantastic, dude. Texas needs a Disney or Universal Studios. Like, we are super in need of one of those. If we can get one of those, that'd be real solid. Got Brian back. Brian, good to have you back. I'm telling you, man.
Yo, that's what I get, yo. I was talking about Baldur's Gate crashing, and my computer was like, yo, I got something for you, bro. Watch this, yo.
That's wild. Yeah, we were talking about Baldur's Gate. I was just letting people know that there is some adult content in it.
Oh, I missed the Toxic Avengers comments.
No, someone just mentioned that right now. But what did you think about Toxic Avenger? That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, man.
So I was talking about Vince came in and said Anthony Starr's Lex Luthor as the new DC, and I just remember the Johnny Sins thing.
Johnny Sins.
Yeah, I just remember Johnny Sins. I actually was like all off right now, and I was like, wait a minute. Anthony Starr's not a porn star. Like, that's that dude. That's Homelander. And yeah, so we ended up clearing that up. But yeah, I kind of let people know that was a wild thing. But James Gunn already stepped it in the butt. It's not real. Johnny Sins is not going to be in the DC universe. So everybody go ahead and let it go. And Chrissy came in. She says he loves Anthony Starr. Understandable. But at the same time, I don't think I would like to see the guy that plays Homelander play Lex Luthor. I think he already plays a really, really great villain in Homelander.
Yeah.
So, like, I would like to see him do something else. That's why I like that cop show he's in. Have you seen that where he plays a police officer and he's like super like
I think I vaguely heard of it, but I haven't watched it. No.
That's wild, man. That's a good show. That's a really good show. I can't remember the name of it. It's a good show. It's cool to see him as like a really hardcore cop that's like all about the law and shit. Then he goes off and Banshee, dude. There you go. There you go. It's a great show, man. He looks badass. And then he's in the film with he's in that show with do you remember Iron Fist?
Joe?
Yeah, the movie, the Netflix show?
Yeah.
The brother of the girl?
The brother of the girl. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the one that owns. Well, he's in that show too, and he plays like an ex, like KKK dude with like tattoos and all this shit. Like he looks bad. Like he looks like a badass biker guy. Like he just looks like a cool like villain in a fucking like gang movie. Looks badass, dude. And then he ends up being reformed in prison, and he ends up being a police officer. And then he ends up going after like the KKK and all those dudes. And he's like, "Fuck, dude, it's such a good show. It's real like a show with a bunch of Daryl Dixons in it."
Okay.
That's literally what it feels like when you watch it.
It's
good. It's good, dude. Banshee's a really good show. But yeah, I was gonna say, since your computer was going down, I know that you did have some things that you wanted to talk about. I know that we mentioned offline the writer strike, like things that are going on with the writer strike and the SAG thing. What's going on with all that stuff?
So they were having. I had all my notes up before, but now they're not here.
Yeah. I kind of figured that it was gonna knock it out.
But yeah. So they, the writers, and I'm not sure if it was the writers and the actors, but the writers I know had to sit down with you know, the CEOs and the companies this week, and it's not looking good, bro. Like I don't. What do you think? What do you think is gonna happen if this doesn't get resolved by this year? Do you think this will have some type of long effects?
This is going to have long-term effects,
so?
Dude. Very, very much. Very.
So
very
you don't
much.
think that if something does get settled out, it won't just go back to normal? You think it'll?
No, it's not going to go back to normal.
Why is
that? It goes back. So right now, what a lot of the people in studios are doing is they're using actors that are part of this other organization called SCAB.
Yeah.
And SCAB is actors that are non-union, writers that are non-union. And all the union people are like, "Yo, well, if you do that, you're fucked up." And it's like, well, but these people are freelance then. Like they're not part of a union. They're kind of doing it on their own, like fruition to try to make money. Like whatever they can get and make money from it. So they're probably, unless they're getting financed salary wise from something else, like they're as freelance as everybody else is. If I'm not mistaken, is that right?
Say it again.
Like they're freelance. They're pretty much freelance agents, not part of a union. They deal with their own contracts. They deal with their own, like they have to deal with their own negotiations. And they're just like everyday people, just like us, like doing their best just to try to make a living. And the people that are part of the SAG and the writers union are out there telling these people, well, you know what, it's pretty fucked up you're taking work that way because they're hurting us, the union. And it's like, but they have a choice to be a part of the union or not, right?
No.
What do you mean? Why wouldn't they have a fact? Why wouldn't they have a choice if the SCABs do?
You mean do they have a choice? They don't have a choice. If you want to be a major actor, or a major writer in Hollywood, you have to be part of the union. There's
apparently not right now because the major studios are taking SCAB actors and writers.
Well, because what I'm saying is, if you are an actor or a writer in Hollywood, you have to be part of the union. Otherwise, you're not going to be up for the big roles. You're not going to, that's just not how this works.
Yeah, because they're going to prioritize people that are part of SAG and all of the Directors Actor Guild and the Writers Actors Guild and the Screen Actors Guild and stuff like that, right?
Correct.
But right now, since they're on strike, they are hiring people that are part of this other stuff that are not union workers.
Okay.
And now the union people are talking about like, well, that's not cool that they're just taking our work.
I don't think they're worried about that. They're on strike, dude. They don't care who's like, their focus is getting what they're asking for. If you guys want to have the replacement players come in and play, fine, but we need to figure this out. If not, we have they have bigger issues than worrying about some C or D-list actors, even worse than that, taking some roles that they weren't going to take in the first place. It doesn't make a difference. Like they're worried about what they're asking for, because if they don't get what they're asking for, it doesn't make a difference who's doing what. Like it doesn't make a difference.
And how do you feel like with the way that the Screen Actors Guild is not getting the demands met? Like, do you feel like they're eventually going to reach some type of agreement or something? Because I'm not seeing that anytime soon.
I think eventually. I just don't like. That was my initial question to you. Was like, how long do you think this will How long do you think this will last? Because I would have thought that. Um, Listen, if it was just money, like if money was just the issue, I think this would have been done a long time ago. But there's some things that fundamentally the two sides aren't going to see eye to eye. Um,
Okay.
and that's the biggest hurdle. It's not money on either side, on whether it's the Screen Actors Guild or whether it's the actors. Like there are some long lasting effects that they need to iron out before anything gets moved. So
Like you're talking about like the residuals and the AI thing
for
and
the writers, yes, we're talking about the residuals. Again, not to go dive deep back into this, but
yeah.
their issue is that they're not getting paid from these streaming services, right? But
Mm-hmm.
these streaming services don't have money to pay them. Again,
They're still struggling, right?
they're struggling as well. They're all, not in great shape. The only one that's turning out a profit year in, year out is Netflix, and that's the only one. The rest of them are in the hole. Think about it.
Yeah.
Every other company that has a streaming service, you've heard of them being in a hole or
Yeah,
not really making
tanking
any
or
money. Yeah.
losing subscribers or hurting in some way.
Yeah,
I mean,
hurt
right
in some
now, I
way.
think we
So,
just heard that Disney is going to be raising their prices because I think that's the way that they're trying to handle the idea that people are losing subscriptions
so wait,
or
I don't
closing
want to
subscriptions.
I don't want to lose my point there, because I got to get to the actors as well. But
Mhm.
like that's a fundamental issue right there. Like there's a path there that just has a roadblock. And then when it comes to the actors, their issue is the AI, right? Disney has been, I just read a article 2 days ago. Disney has been receiving research, like feedback on AI since like 2006, bro.
Mhm.
Like this was where they always wanted to go. And you guys found out too late. And now it's here and they're
Yeah.
perfecting it as we speak. How do you get above that hurdle? How are you
Oh,
gonna tell
there's no way.
how are you
There's
gonna
no way
tell
these people, because these people have like 8 years of fucking around with
of
it, where we barely
hard
have like
study
hard research.
research?
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are getting to it while you guys are over here making your fucking $100 million movies, making your $1 billion
Yeah.
movies. That's great, but we have these people. I would think the person that they interviewed, I think it was in Variety or something like that. It was like a AI CEO. I think I might even have sent it in the chat. Like an
Mhm.
AIC, like a CEO of an AI company, have been doing research in London for Disney since 2006 on AI, dude. They're like Disney specifically are knee deep in this shit, so they're not going anywhere off of fucking AI. So how do you get above that hurdle? Like that's gonna be
Well,
weird.
there's no way they're going to beat them at the aspect of AI. They're only going to have to try to reach some type of like minor agreement, because even with that, like let's say they're talking about just like, oh well, they're going to take my likeness. Well, they're going to steal your voice, they're going to steal your likeness, they're going to steal your body type. There's a bunch of other like smaller details it gets into.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And they can, they can do whatever they want with it. They can take your body and put it in the background. They can switch your head and your body and fucking make a whole new person using both parts of you and someone else, or put you as like a dead body in the background, or mark you up as like 80,000 people in a stadium. Like there's a million ways they can do it.
yeah,
Then you get into the detail of, okay, like if you want to use my voice, 15% residuals, my face, 35% residuals. Like you have to start breaking it down in numbers in that way, unless you're just going to do it as just a roundabout and be like, well, if you use anything of my body, voice, eyes, whatever it is, then you just pay me my residuals, 25% or whatever.
yeah,
Like and I don't think the studio is going to fuck around that much with that shit, because you're looking about it across the board with a bunch of people that are part of an organization that want to protect themselves, where you have another organization right now that they're using, that every time someone comes in, you make an agreement with that person on the spot. It's underneath the studio. It's underneath the platform. It's underneath that specific project that they have to work with.
Yeah.
And then if the next person comes in and they don't know how to barter or set up a thing for themselves, fuck them. They fucked up. That's what they came to the agreement with. But if I have to set up an organization with 100,000 people in it and I got to pay everybody equally, and I can't do this and I can't do that across the board, fuck that. I'm not going to play with that. I don't let people dictate to me when my company, my $1 billion company is struggling. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to stay on my yacht and chill out, and I'm going to try to save money as best as I can. And if that makes everybody go back to being an individual rather than an entire 100,000 group that I got a baby, I'm not going to do that.
Well, right there, I could have said it better. I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, that's exactly what's happening.
That's literally, yeah. And that's why I feel like right now, like, that's the equivalent to like people that, like, you know how like they sell pops and they do all this shit. Like, people are out there doing that right now as a company. That's not going to work for like the next 12 years as a business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Selling props. But right now you can make some money. Why? Because nobody's got a handle on that shit. Nobody's got limitations of what you can and can't do. Everybody's selling them. Nobody's giving you rules. Once that comes into fruition, then you got to change your shit up and then try to make money. That's like the side hustle mentality. Whatever's popular right now, let's make some money and let's run with it. And once that well is dried up, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's in the same nature of what these people in Hollywood are doing. Like, they're like, these people that are at the top, they're like, hey, well, you know what? Like, the movies ain't doing good to begin with. So why do I got to clamor at making these people and pay them fucking what they want when they ain't giving us what we need?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I am 100% for these people getting their living wages and whatnot. But it's hard as fuck. That's a hard uphill battle to fight because they don't have any barter. They don't have any chips. Like, let me ask you, like, what do these people have as a bargaining chip to make these people give them what they want other than a protest?
Honestly, they do put them in a situation because although everyone's scared of AI, it's not perfected yet. So if the companies were a little bit more advanced in it, I don't think they would give a fuck. I think they would just shut everything, like shut the talking, all that shit. They would just shut it down. But they don't. I don't think AI is where it needs to be yet. So they can't rely on just AI. So they're gonna have to. They're still gonna have to rely. Yeah, as of right now, in the near future, they're still gonna need these actual people. So that's the reason why they're talking.
Watch. I'm gonna call this right now. You watch at all the fucking $1 million actors that are out there, like the A-listers, that end up switching just for that moment to be like, well, times are tough, guys. I need to make money. And you watch, or be like, oh, it's because they're making me come out here, but I still support the line. You watch when those guys need the cash, they'll be out there. They'll still get those.
They were smart. If the actors were smart, and if they were really concerned about AI, they should, like, a few of them or a lot of them should just pool them money together and make a AI company
on their own.
And so now they can sell their likeness to this engine. They can sell their likeness to this company that's generating money off the movies that they're making. If you want to use me, if you want to use an AI version of me in anything, you're gonna go through this company, and they're gonna make it, and I'm gonna get some residual from this or something like that. Like, I think that should happen.
But isn't that kind of hard because you're branding, you're copywriting your own?
I think you could figure out a way when the other option is you being out of work.
Yeah, that's a good point. But they wouldn't be able to use their likenesses and stuff anyways.
What do you mean?
Like, Hollywood wouldn't be like let's say Ryan Reynolds like doesn't go back to do Deadpool. Like, they can't just use his likeness and not pay him. That's going to create a whole controversy. They'll just have to replace him completely.
Or just not hire him. I'm talking about the movies. I'm talking about the movies that these people are being offered. If you want, this AI version of me to do something for you, or if you need me to be in a movie or anything, I don't know, whatever you would fucking use it for, to write a script or whatever, you would have to go through this production company. This company that I'm on umbrella with the rest of these actors or however many people want to be involved, and you're going to pay this company for our engine, for our shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't see them coming to any kind of like any type of fucking setup coming up. I don't see them coming to any type of order. I think this goes on for a real long time.
We'll see,
And the thing is like as long as the studio has an option to bring in some type of money, like they really don't need to hire the actors. And I'm not saying because they're going to use AI or whatnot, but what I'm thinking is like they're going to use the freelance actors to make indie films and put money on that because of the success of other stuff. Maybe even do like the Mattel storyline or whatever,
Yeah.
and do like a bunch of Barbie films with a bunch of like cheese actors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then bring in like one, maybe two like big actors that are willing to do it, that get like a permission from the SAG shit, like the way that they were talking about with like Matthew McConaughey and all these other actors that are able to still go out and do acting gigs
Mm-hmm.
because they get special permission to do it. And I think that's what's going to happen is a lot of those big actors are going to get that special privilege to be able to go do film still. And they're going to be like, yeah, but we'll do the film, but then I'm going to go walk at the picket line and make sure my brothers and SAG and sisters and SAG get their representation and money and all. And it's like, that doesn't work, dude. That does not work. If everybody does not stop, then it doesn't work. The protest does not work. You can't have a couple of dudes being able to get that privilege of being out there still getting it, and then have everybody else out there in the sun just burning, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks, man. It's a fucking horrible situation, but like it's a dumb situation too. Maybe the whole thing just needs to be flipped upside down. I said this last time. Maybe people just need to do their independent shit. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. Maybe that's what it ends up being. But crazy shit, man. Fucking writer strike. That's just gonna go on forever. Yeah. All right, onwards to the last part of the conversation. I know we have a little bit of time. We're going to about 11, maybe 11:10 or whatever. But I want to get to this because it's really, really important to us. And this past week we got a lot of knowledge dropped on us from Marvel. Marvel looks like it's going to be running with the Time Runs Out storyline, or at least a part of it, which is the Doctor Strange 2 movie with Clea and all this other stuff. Recently, we know that the Marvel Universe is headed towards this big old multiverse madness, multiversal, problem that everybody's dealing with. We got Kang the Conqueror, we got Loki in the TVA, we have all of this shit popping off. And it's leading up to Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, right? Now it just goes to show this past week, getting closer to what we've talked about before. Time runs out. A big part in the comic book Secret Wars lead up for us as a comic book reader, we know what that leads up to. But knowing that the MCU is now touching base on it, it's getting crazier, getting closer to what I consider is probably one of the most important comic books arcs in the last like 15 years. Mm-hmm. And one of the best what is it? Calamities of the Marvel universe when it all comes to like a world ending and reset situation. Mm-hmm. Brian, did you get to hear about all this cool shit or what?
I did. Yes, I did. I also heard. You
feel? I mean, I wish Trigger was here because Trigger, he's huge on this, just like I am, and just like you are. Like having three of us here talking about this, I think that really brings into effect like the desire on what we want to happen out of this. But how did you feel when you heard Time Runs Out, Doctor Strange 2?
I didn't know if we were gonna get this path towards Secret Wars. I'm not mad at it. I just don't. Again, like I think this would be a great. I would have loved for Trigger to be on tonight because I would have loved to hear his thoughts on this because they're just going for everything at this point.
They are. That is fucking wild.
They're throwing a kitchen sink at you, bro, and they don't care if it lands at this point. They're just gonna throw it at you and see if you like it.
Yeah.
But what I did hear from the limited things that I heard is that the Molecule Man is gonna be like Doctor Strange. Like that's gonna be his role in the MCU moving forward.
What is it like? He's the constant, right? Is that what they were kind of saying?
Yeah, that's the reason why like they kind of why they were focusing on his alternate universe, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, so like it's all gonna tie in. And the incursions and everything like that. Yeah.
Man, how do you feel about this? Look, even Jesus Cervantes in the comment section is like, Dr. Doom, man. Dr. Doom, man.
Yeah. And if you go that way, you have to have Dr. Doom. And I do think that they may start leaning in a different direction from Jonathan Majors, to be honest with you. And I think we go in a direction of Doom. I think that's what happens.
Interesting. Okay. So time runs out in the comic books is a really, really important storyline when it comes to the setup for Battle World and Secret Wars. Battle World being the world that Doom creates, saving parts of different multiverses and then bringing them in together into one planet, trying to save as much as he can from the universes he visits, right? Which are all the easiest way to explain it is all different comic book series that were written during that time that were popular. You had like the little kids, the anime versions of the Marvel characters. You had Old Man Logan. You had World Breaker Hulks. You had the Civil War story that continued on with Tony Stark and Captain Rogers. You had what is it? The Armor Wars storyline that continued. You have, of course, what is that? That island, dude. That island where all the primitive land or whatever. I can't even remember off the top of my head.
Okay, I can't remember either.
Yeah, you remember that from the X-Men story, right?
Yeah. Geneva, or wait, not Geneva, but
there were just so many different. You had the Braddock's kingdom. You had Sinister's kingdom, Apocalypse's kingdom. It was so crazy the way that the Savage Land. Thank you said about this. Thank you, man. The Savage Land. Good call. You had all of these different parts that Doctor Doom brought together on one major planet with walls, giant walls separating each continent. From there, Doctor Doom appealed to the idea of putting generals or lords in charge of every section, and then they were in charge of that. And then there was a policing factor of all the Thors from the multiverse, and they created what they called the Thor Corps, and they made sure that everybody stayed in their lands. From there, you had on the top the shield, which is the wall that protected everybody from the Age of Ultron area, the Annihilus wave, and the Marvel Zombie storyline. And those were actually used for punishment. And then, of course, the person who ran this entire thing was Doctor Doom, because he was the one that went to. It's really crazy because that's where it kind of gets confusing, and that's where I get a little bit confused. I know that the books were like 4 time runs out. It was like 40 books for the arc, and then like 6 books for like the Avengers comic to time runs out, right? And if you go back, the coolest part of this story to me was the Hyperion and Thor fighting the Beyonders in the end. Do you remember that, right?
Yes, I do.
So that's like one of the coolest parts. But we all know that Doctor Doom, Owen Reese, the Molecule Man, and Doctor Strange all go to fight the Beyonders and take them out and then take over and create God Doom in the Flash of Light. In the comic books, if I'm not mistaken, the moment that Thor and Hyperion fly in to fight the Beyonders and it turns into like a big flash of light, like as soon as those 2 guys die, Doctor Doom, Owen Reese, and Doctor Strange all show up and they all beat the Beyonders. That is the moment. So like it's not Thor and Hyperion that are only at the end. When they die, these 3 show up to reset everything, which is really, really cool. Doctor Doom had like this crazy story. The Molecule Man, like the way they're using Doctor Strange is across every universe. And they were put there because there are these, I guess, godly characters known as the Beyonders, which we'll talk about them in a little bit. They put a Molecule Man in every universe. Yeah. So that in the very end, they could just do like
explode them
all at the same time to see what happens. Kind of shit. It was an experiment. And what Doctor Doom did was him and Owen Reese were like, well, let's start early. And they started going and killing off Owen Reese's, which then created the incursions, or it kickstarted, because the incursion was going to happen either way. They had like 25 years or some shit like that, because Owen Reese was like going to die in 25 years. So the explosion of the multiverse was going to happen, but they kickstarted the incursions either way. And the only way that the incursion was going to start and be successful with Doctor Doom is that Owen Reese told him he needed to start a religion. So from there, you end up finding out about Rabum Allah, the Ivory Kings, the Black, what is it? The Black Knights or Black
Swan? No,
the Black Swan is one of them, but you have the Black Doctors, or what is it? The guys that are The cloaked guys. Let me see. Time runs out. Kings. Not the Ivory Kings. Why do I keep thinking the Ivory Kings? Time runs out. There's a group of guys,
No,
and
it
they're
is
all.
Ivory. I mean, it is the Ivory Kings,
Well, the
but I'm
Ivory
just not.
Kings is one part
I
of
don't
it.
know who else you're missing then.
Hold on. I'll tell you right now. It's like the Kings in Black or something. It's the Doctor Strange character.
Oh, the Black Priest. Black
The
Priest.
Black. There you
Black
go. The
Priest.
Black
Black
Priest. I
Priest.
totally
Black
forgot about that
Priest.
name, but I knew that there was another section, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like you end up finding out that these three characters, it's almost like a giant game of chess.
Mm-hmm.
That it's Doctor Doom versus the Beyonders, and the Beyonder is a character that was very prominent in the first Secret Wars, which is like from like back in like what, like the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that one compared to like the Beyonders that are in this story, he's in his infancy. Like he's a baby compared to those Beyonders. They're like super astronomically strong. So, but okay, going past all that shit, how do you pull off a story of this magnitude missing so many assets? Don't do this to me.
You don't.
Don't do this to me, Brian.
We gotta make it work. Ask that dumbass question. Like you don't.
You know what? Like so I've been going back. I've been doing my due diligence. I've been kind of doing my research. And I've been noticing that a lot of the films in Phase 4 have been putting a lot of the parts of Time Runs Out in the stories. Like I don't know if you remember, but there was the part where Namor, right? Namor is part of the Illuminati. Everybody's getting ready to do the incursion shit, and everybody's all hyped. They use the Infinity Gauntlet the first time. The Infinity Gauntlet fails and disappears and all that stuff. Later on, it gets to the point where the Illuminati are kind of like, you know what? We're just going to take it for what it's worth. We got 8 hours. Fuck it. Like, we're just going to let everything fail and die. And when they show up, like Namor shows up and pops off and turns into a villain and all this stuff. And then he goes with the Cabal, which is, what is it? Thanos's group of guys that are going around just wiping out the multiverses, right? And then before that, you have your two characters, Doctor Doom and Owen Reese, that are going around the multiverse stopping the Molecule Man. And it just so happens that in right now, you have Loki and Morbius that are going around trying to fix the multiverse, right? I think Clea's character, since she's barely introduced, is she's going to be the Black Swan or a character of the Black Swan. I mean, that would make sense for her character, because she's not really in the incursion storyline, and it's not Doctor Strange and Clea that are out there doing magic shit. Mm-hmm. But we know that the Black Priests are going to play a factor, which are all the different variations of Doctor Strange that are out there following Rabum Allah, which is, Doctor Doom. So even with that factor, if Doctor Strange plays Owen Reese and himself, then he has to fight the Ivory Kings, and she's part of the Black Swan. They still have to answer to someone. Mm-hmm. And then the factor was, and I think we heard this as a rumor a while back, that the Kang that falls into the quantum engine is supposedly going to come back as a Beyonder. Like, he's going to come back as a strong character. And I made the effort to say last time that my prophecy, my telling the future kind of shit, is I think the Kang dynasty is going to be Battle World. I think it's going to be Battle World, and they're just switching the words to Kang Dynasty rather than Doom World, which is what it's called in the comics. It's not called Battle World in the comics. It's just called Doom World because it's run by God Doom, right? Mm-hmm. So what happens is, if I'm not mistaken, we also heard that there is a Kang that's going to be in Doctor Strange 2, and that eventually they're going to have to meet him. And if it just so happens to be that it's the Beyonder variation, that means you're going to have Doctor Strange with a Black Swan, who Doctor Strange plays Owen Reese, meeting their variation of Doctor Doom. I think that kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, but even still, I'm feeling to see, because there's going to be so much you're going to miss out on this, because this is such a long. There's so many things that are involved in the Time Runs Out arc, and you don't even have a fraction of what you need for this in live action right now. Like, there's no gardeners, there's no there's characters that are important.
Well, okay.
Here.
So the gardeners, like you're talking about, like was it Nil Helix, Alex, or what's his name?
Ex
Exilio,
nihilo. Yeah.
right? Exilio. That character, they come from the Beyonders that are in between that don't want the incursions to happen.
Yeah.
And I think like in the Doctor Strange or maybe in the Loki show, I really doubt it. More in the Doctor Strange movie, like you can get guys like that. Like you can get characters
from where though? From where? Like they're
from failed incursions, from incursions that already happened that they're trying to like survive.
But what I'm saying is, when do you introduce them though?
Probably in Doctor Strange too. Like it's gonna be rushed though.
Exactly.
It's gonna be really, really rushed.
I think that's my whole point. Not even the fact of just not having them, but there's a lot of people that you are gonna need to have in here to even remotely look like time runs
close
out
to it, right?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like you don't even have the characters in place for that.
Well, we do have the possibility of getting What If and it kind of giving us something. But I don't know, man. I don't know if What If really can kind of bring that because I don't know how much it got for getting people to watch it the first time. Yeah. And then the animation studios and them telling us like, you know, we just heard, I think that they're going to start closing off on Disney doing or Marvel doing Disney Plus shows.
Yeah.
So we know that the importance of those shows is kind of like deteriorating. I really think that the reason why they shoved Secret Invasion now is because they needed a Kree Skrull situation because that's what kicks off the Illuminati in the first place. Mm. That's what pushes our world to start an Illuminati. So like now that we have the Kree situation on Earth and then we have the Marvels coming up going to space, like maybe, but dude, even Starbrand and Moon Knight? No. What's his name? Moon Mask? Starbrand and let me see. Starbrand and Night Mask. Starbrand and Night Mask were two characters that were really, really important in the multiversal Avengers. Starbrand being like the thing that the universe creates to stop anything from destroying the universe. That's a huge like character. Mm-hmm. It's a huge cosmic character. You have, of course, the Beyonders killing off the Living Tribunal. Yep. I mean, they haven't even talked about the Beyonders yet. And they're about to tell you like, hey, man, look at this guy. He just happens to be this strong in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or if they make it Kang, even worse, dude. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be like, where did this guy get that fucking power?
I think from what I'm hearing that there's rumors that they're going to use the Void from Loki as Battleworld. Like that's where Battleworld is.
Yeah. Okay, I heard about that. That director is the one that's making Secret Wars. The guy that made the Loki film.
The Loki show.
Yeah, he's actually the director of the Secret Wars film, which is crazy as fuck, dude. Yo, do you think they do a callback and bring back the Russos to help out for this?
No, man.
I know it's something you don't want to hear. But like but what do you do, man? Those guys like they knew the story and they were really hyped about it.
Why would your brain just automatically go to the Russos? Why do you think those fellas are the same?
Because they cared about it. They cared about the
You don't think like there's that. Other people that can care about it?
I do, but that are capable, I don't know.
Do you have like an issue? Do you have a problem with change?
No, I don't have a problem with change. I just have a problem with trust.
So your trust issues.
Trust issues. I trust that the Russo brothers can bring something.
Yeah.
And the fact that 9 years ago, they were sitting on a thing and they were like, you know what? We would come back if they did Secret Wars.
But that doesn't scare you that it was however long ago that was?
No, because like I said, like those guys, like, I mean, you can experimental wise, scientific wise, seeing the first 10 years of Marvel compared to what we're getting right now, it's like peas in a pot, two completely different iterations of the Marvel universe. Like
the company itself has changed.
Yeah. And I get that. I'm not saying that it's a good or bad thing, but I'm telling you, like, it just doesn't feel the way it did in the first 10 years. You know, and it was a hard thing to see a company go up that high and then go like
Chris, 180 degrees I'm sorry I have to break it to you, but there's a high possibility you will never feel that again.
Oh yeah, I am on that boat. I've been on that boat for like
But I don't mean for the fact that
Doctor Strange.
I don't feel like, I'm not saying it in the sense that they can't make good shit. I'm saying this because it was new. We were still in the honeymoon phase when we were getting the last 10 years of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's over. Now we're kind of desensitized to these movies.
Yeah, we're expecting events in every one of them. We're expecting like we're expecting, Endgame in every film.
Or at least something remotely close to it. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, for me, I'm just expecting quality. Like quality. And like I've said before, I said it a million times, like the source material is there and I know they can't go to it. And that's what I was talking about really, really earlier, where I was like talking about the source material. Like it's not there no more. Like it's so modified that, I mean, even right now, by far, you're getting all of these different stories that are all clamoring up to the idea of like a crazy multiverse. How do you sell me that Captain America, A New World Order is going to be anything of importance? Or Brave New World or whatever it's called. How do you sell me that that's going to be like a story for like the bigger picture?
Why can't it be?
Well, I don't know. Like that's why I'm asking. I'm asking you, like, how can you sell me the idea that it's going to go all the way to like the Kang universe, that I need to care about what Captain America and them are doing on Earth, while the multiversal situation is going to equal out in like the next 3 movies or 4 movies or whatever.
Dude, you can say that about the last 10 fucking Marvel movies that we still went to go out and watch.
And they all did bad.
That doesn't make a difference whether it did bad or whether it did good. Regardless on how stupid the story is or whatever situation it may be, we still went out and fucking saw that movie because we had to, because we were invested. So whether it was good or whether it was bad, we still went out and watched that shit.
Check this out.
There's only been a couple of movies that have been considered good. The rest of them, we just forked our money over to Disney and just let them fuck us.
Well, check this out. I'm going to make this make a little bit of sense.
Please do.
Brave New World. They're not looking for the broken Tesseract. Captain America is out looking for the Infinity Stones.
Why the fuck are we going back to the Infinity Stones?
Well, because Captain America is going to use the Infinity Stones to stop an incursion in his movie.
I don't think we see the Infinity Stones anytime soon.
It's crazy. Bro. I know it sounds ridiculous. It sounds stupid as shit. But the thing is there's a major point in the comic books, right? Look, I'll tell you what. In the comic books, there is a situation that an incursion is coming. The Illuminati gets Namor back after Namor has already been a part of the Cabal, and they want to create a shield around the opposite planet, trap the Cabal in it, and stop Thanos and his guys because they're bloodthirsty about the whole situation, right? Right before it starts, Namor is supposed to go and trap the Cabal. Black Panther steps in front of him and says, "Hey, you know what? For what you did to Wakanda," and he stabs him in the chest with a Wakandan like a religious dagger. He's like, this is where this belongs. And then Black Bolt then looks at him and says farewell and blasts Namor onto the planet, right? Destroying Namor right at the end of Time Runs Out. When did that happen in the movies? It happened with Doctor Strange after he killed Thanos on that other planet, and Black Bolt came and told him that he tells him farewell. It's the exact same aspect from Time Runs Out. There's aspects of Time Runs Out that they've been putting across the films. So in that situation, Doctor Strange, even though he's Owen Reese playing Doctor Strange, he's the constant. At that moment, he was also the person who started the incursion and did something completely evil against the world that the Illuminati needed to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Which is what Namor did. And then at the very end, they farewelled his ass because and he accepted it. So that incursion situation is there. You know what I mean? Like that's a cool little like, okay, here's a little tidbit of Time Runs Out that you didn't know. But the thing is I know that one of the biggest things that happens is there's 2 points, and it's all separate stories because we have Original Sin. That's got to be in there somewhere. We have the Captain Hydra story that's got to be in there somewhere, right? Which is going to be the one that's coming in. But in that story, he does 2 things. One of them was the Infinity Gauntlet to stop the incursion. And the other one was he lifted Thor's hammer in front of everybody to show that he was right. You remember that?
I don't vaguely I remember it, but I just don't see how they're gonna bring back the fucking same Infinity Stones that in like the first episode of Loki they had seemed like nothing, like they were
Yes, that's
worthless.
what they have to do. And the best way to do it is from time runs out. They use it, stops the incursion, and then what happens? Infinity Stones all blow up. The Time Stone fucking disappears
Uh,
completely.
I think there's zero shot we get the Infinity Stones anywhere in this whole Secret Wars run.
Well, I mean, just to let people know, and just to get you guys to remember, all the Infinity Stones are there. None of them are destroyed. Like they're all back to normal. Like they're all there. So that may be a thing that they may use to be like, oh, okay, cool. Like we'll just get the Infinity Stones and boom, we'll just end this whole possibility because that's what we did in the first movie. And then they take them off the table completely. They do the Infinity Stones. They halt an incursion, and Captain America looks like a hero. And then you realize, boom, fucking stones are gone. There's another incursion happening like literally in the next like 12 hours. Like, how are you going to stop this one now? What are you going to do? Like you literally have to make it to where like the Avengers or whoever's in charge have to kill an entire planet off. Like the
I
thing
guess.
is like they have to kind of show that stuff to make it to where the incursions are a threat. To where like they're now killing people on other planets. Like they have to. And then we all remember that at the end of Time Runs Out.
See, this is where you get yourself into trouble is when you start using the words like have to. They don't have to. You would like them to as a
Oh yeah, I would
fan,
like them to.
but they how many times have you thought they had to do something and then they didn't?
Oh, like a million times, dude.
Yeah, so it's
A
like
million times.
yeah,
I'm kind of worried, right? And the thing that worries me the most is all the other movies that are coming out right now are all in regards to them setting up the multiverse and the Kang dynasty and quantum this and time travel that, or multiverse cosmic stuff that. And then we get like a floor ground level Civil War movie that's going to be based on Captain America. You know what I mean? Like it's like okay, and then Thunderbolts. Like what are those films? How does that help the situation in Marvel? Like right now, them introducing Time Runs Out to Doctor Strange is because of the fact that they know they need to get whatever they can to make work whatever they got left, because they don't have like fucking 8 years to make this work. Like that's what's crazy is we talked about this a long time ago where it was like they said they were going to do it in 6 years, and I said no, they're probably going to need 10, and you were like, I don't want 10 years. Like I don't want 10 years. So you got to imagine like the guys in the higher ups are like, we're not giving you 10 years. Like make it happen. So like now
I vaguely
clamoring
remember that conversation, and I don't think it was that cut and dry. I think there was a different reason as to why.
I just remember you saying you didn't want another 10 years of this.
I just think that it's gonna happen sooner than that. I don't know. Maybe.
But it's like it's just way too much stuff though.
Yeah.
Like it's way too huge of a story. Like I'm not saying that the Infinity story isn't as big as Secret Wars, but I'm just saying because of all the assets and moving parts, like it's just way too much of a project to try to be like, yo, we could do this in 6 or 8 years. Easy.
I think they would start losing people if they brought the gauntlet back, the Infinity Gauntlet. Because it'll just be the same fucking story. All right, so
I don't think it's gonna.
They get themselves in trouble, and then they have to look for the fucking Infinity Stones to bail them out. Like that's what they do. Story.
That's what all those guys do.
I do understand that, but for like I go maybe you're right.
And then it fails, and then we all see that the stakes are actually high, and then we have to see that one of their characters. Yeah, it could still be Namor. They just
I just don't know. Like that's the issue. I don't know what they feel as though they have to make a part of this. So that's what I'm saying. Like I can sit here and argue you all day, but to be honest with you, I don't feel comfortable about anything that could or could not be in the movie. Like they could do anything that they want at this point, and it's so far out. It's way too far out. Like we have a long time before we get Secret Wars.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Because even like right now, my brain is clicking more to Secret Wars than it is Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Like, but I just think it's so interesting that like, okay, cool. Like we're literally about to get a film based on like the Black Priests, the Ivory Kings, which are all Beyonders, if that's real. You know, the Black Swan, which are all the female hype characters that have all been in the Marvel and the cinematic universe. Well, not the cinematic, but literally all female characters that have all been across the realm, such as like Madame Web and Emma Frost. Like, there's just been a bunch of people that have been Black Swans. Like, I think even the Black Swan that's in the story is like apparently like an iteration of Valeria Richards, who like that's like the daughter and the stepdaughter of Doctor Doom. Like, it's crazy, dude, like how deep it gets. But like how do you feel knowing that they're going in this direction without like a major, because like, dude, we've read the comic books, like they're masterpieces. Like, these are masterpieces. Like, I could literally give this book or this series to a school and be like, read this shit because this is proper storytelling. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get it without like a major player like Doctor Doom.
Well, we may, I don't know. I know we should be getting him for Secret Wars. If we get him for Doctor Strange, that one, I don't know. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's a little weird, right? Or at least like some type of like mention of him or something, because there was a lot of people that were clamoring.
We might not even need him for Doctor Strange. We might not need him at all, because they might not be doing the time runs out for like the whole thing for Doctor Strange. So that could be spread out through a few movies.
That's a good point.
So
that's a good point. I just don't feel like, I just think this is going to be like a very watered down version of it.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for sure. That's just because they don't have what they need for it. So of course it's gonna be a watered down version of it.
Yeah, because like in my mind, I feel like maybe towards the ending, it's gonna be where like Doctor Strange is gonna stay with the Black Priests, and then he's gonna show up on what is it, Kang Dynasty, as the right hand man to Kang the Beyonder. And they'll be running that planet while some of the Avengers and Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool and all those guys are going to be out there doing the life raft thing and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm really, really like hyped about the whole entire thing. I'm just like, I want to let people know, if you get an opportunity, really get the opportunity, like go out there and check out the comic book story, because you will be blown away at like just everything in general that happens in that story.
Or just go to Comics Explained, like I
did. And Comics Explained also, he has just like we were talking about earlier about the Call of Duty, he has a video, hours, like an hour long, maybe 30 minutes of most of the series. I mean, you're gonna probably find a lot of them right now because everybody's covering this story right now.
Yeah.
But are you hyped though? Are you hyped about Doctor Strange and all this?
Not really. I told you, like, I just because I've seen them have these type of opportunities. Yeah, they've had these opportunities and they just haven't come through. And honestly, there's only but so much they could do anyway. Like, I don't even know what we're expecting from them. Like, if they're gonna, I wish they would stop, bro. I wish they would stop and just take a breath. Like, just chill. Like, you don't have to run into a major fucking arc that so many people love just so that you could piss all over it, dude. Like, I don't understand the rush in that, to be honest with you.
Mordo's story arc, I don't know, man. I don't know. Apparently, he was supposed to die at the beginning of Doctor Strange 2. Wanda was supposed to cut his head off, and they cut that whole scene out.
And so he's still alive, right? He's still around.
I really hope so, because he's a good actor, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, you think he's still around.
And his character's badass too, man. His character's badass too. I want to see. It would be an interesting way, because off the top of my head, I can't remember what Mordo was doing during Secret Invasion or during Secret Wars in the comics or Time Runs Out. Okay. Off the top of my, like, Doctor Strange was just like,
I don't think he was a big
player at all.
Yeah,
right?
He wasn't a big player at all. Yeah.
So I wonder, like, how they're going to, like, if they bring him in, because that's the only place you can really put him, right? Like, where they put him in that whole dynamic. Maybe still part of the Illuminati. He was the only character to survive. He wasn't part of the fight.
Yeah, that. But wait, was he from that universe?
He was. He was from that universe.
Okay.
And
Mordo was part of that universe. Yeah.
And what's crazy is that universe is supposed to be the comic book version of the Ultimate Universe.
The Ultimate Universe.
Which to us, it's all the previous cinematic universe. So like the Deadpool apparently comes from that universe. You know, the Fox comes from that universe. That's pretty. Yeah, that's kind of like the most easiest way to put it.
Okay.
So like that's why there's a possibility that universe, and that's why it's easy to work with the incursion part, that they're all going to come to Battle World on the life raft. That's how a lot of those characters survive, and you got a lot of characters to mess with. And apparently, like that even goes for like the Sony universe with like Spider-Man, because we also heard that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are both going to be in it. If I'm not mistaken, I read Andrew Garfield will be in Doctor Strange 2, and then Tobey Maguire said that he is doing a Marvel film coming up. That apparently like he's like a major player in like
I'm
the
just
story.
You know what? In the beginning, when I was hearing all this stuff, I thought it was cool, but I think I'm just gonna start relaxing on being like it's so far away. It's so far away. No one knows what's gonna happen between now and fucking Secret Wars, bro.
And we don't even know how long it's going to take for them to do it with like the secret for this. Well, no, with the strike, the writer strike, and all that stuff. There's no way of saying like how they're going to get all of this done, dude.
It's not helping. I'd say that.
Yeah, there's really no way. But yeah, me on the other hand, I'm pretty hyped.
Cool.
This gets me. I know I say it like almost every other week. This gets me one step closer to that ultimate finish with Doctor Strange, or not Doctor Strange, Hyperion and Thor running at the Beyonders with Starbrand and Helios, the guy, them circling the Beyonder and turning him into the fucking Yggdrasil tree. And like, it literally just kind of like, if you break it down, we know that those arcs are used to kind of reset the universe. And what's fucking cool is like, if you break it down, that means the Beyonders knew that there was a sun god, which would be Hyperion. Mm-hmm. And then there was a Thor, which is like the lightning god, who ends up becoming this universal story that continues on in the next iterations and stuff. And they created Yggdrasil, the tree of the realms and the life and all the like the almost like where the birth of mythology of those characters started at that fight. You know what I mean? Being in the end. That's so cool, dude, because like that's such a great setup for like a whole brand new like cinematic universe. Like once they kill off like Chris Hemsworth and whoever fucking Hyperion's going to be, and then the Yggdrasil gets born, like boom, Marvel will return. Everything's reset. Welcome to the age of mutants or whatever. Boom, dude. Just like, then they go into like all the X-Men and oh, dude, that's so cool. Like I'm super excited to what the future holds. And I kind of like, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago where they move away from the Avengers and tell like another space, the mutant space of like the Marvel landscape with like a little trickle of like the Avengers in the background or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like just to be able to expand on the whole entire universe is just so cool. And then to see everything come to fruition, like, I mean, yeah, they may be bad movies sometimes, but we literally got a live action of all of this shit in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking cool is that? We're going to get a live fucking variation of like the Ivory Kings, fucking Black Priest, fucking the Beyonder, dude. Like, when we were kids, there was no way I thought this was ever a fucking possibility.
I can't wait till you come in here and just shit all over this, bro.
Shit on it or not, I'll tell you, like, there's no way of when I was a kid, I'm 42 now, there's no way I ever thought I was going to make it this far in cinematics with Marvel and comic books and shit. No way. I'm super hyped. Guys, Vince Weaver in the comment section real quick says, Jesus, we talked about the Mordo story arc. Vince says, maybe we get Ghost Rider in Doctor Strange 3. Maybe. What is it? The Midnight Suns. That's been talked about. Blade, of course. All that stuff. Doctor Strange 3 should be better than Thor Love and Thunder. Yeah, I don't disagree. It should be, man. Benedict Cumberbatch, what a guy, man. What a guy. Brian, what do you got planned for the weekend, man?
Going out tomorrow to Brunswick, which is a town nearby. Nice. Grab some food, couple drinks. And then Sunday I'll just probably chill.
Very, very cool. I'll probably be working on a little project I've been messing with. About stuff about going out, like hanging out with people and stuff. So I'll let you know. I'll talk to you about it after the show. After that, okay. I got fucking jury duty Monday, so I gotta get ready for that and life, man, in general. I hope everybody, guys, to everybody out there, I hope you have a great weekend. Be with the loved ones and all that good stuff. To all our extraordinary listeners, we appreciate every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to build that up right now, really trying to push on that. But thank you for tuning in with us from everywhere that you're out there. We appreciate every one of you. Like, share, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. And We'll see you guys again here next Friday here on the Average Boys podcast. We appreciate you. See you guys later. Be careful. Have a good weekend.